So good evening once again. Welcome to this Pain Points webinar number 5 session for tonight. And I'm your host and host, Dr. Bhavdeep Singh Ahuja, bringing to you live this session for all of you, depending upon the survey that we did in the month of July in our group, where we had a lot of pain points being enlisted, and I tried to cover up each and every point. Of course, there are a few ones left, which I'll be covering up today. So once again, if you can see my screen and hear me properly, please type LC in the chat box. The slides are visible and I'm visible and audible as well. Please type LC in the chat box once again. Okay, great. So let's begin today's session without much ado. As I said, I'll be spending the first 10 to 15 minutes over the brief, you can say, history of what we did in the previous 4 sessions, in almost, you can say, 5.5 to 6 hours that we spent. 2 sessions were close to 1 hour and 45 minutes and 2 were almost 1 hour 10 minutes each. So close to 5.5 to 6 hours that we spent. So we'll be rehashing that for certain amount of people who joined late today, of course, or who joined only in the 5th part today. So let's begin. So as usual, all my presentations will always begin with thanking the Lord Almighty has given me much more than what I deserve. And of course, this series is based on the pain points, and my dad was equally capable artist of relieving people's pain in terms of their finances, in terms of their problems. He was a magician in that regard. So yes, big thanks is due to him as well. Of course, whatever I'm having a little bit of capability in me, it is purely because of my parents, both of them, of course, no bias in that part. So this is my brief CV. All are aware of it by now. Let's begin. So this is today's session, part number 5, the finale. We started with this, the 2 1-hour sessions on 12th of August, the mini day of education 2 at 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. And then we did the 3rd part on 19th of August, the 4th part on 30th of August, and today we are doing the 5th part. So what we did in part 1, of course, we started with what exactly is a pain point. Everybody has pain points, so we need to understand that. Maybe everybody ranges from, nobody can say I have no pain. Everybody has a little, 1, maybe 10. Some people have beyond the range of 10 also, maybe 15 also. And what are pain points? Simply speaking, they were problems, as we can say, simply speaking, in a very broader language. So I categorize all of those pain points that you sent me into 7 broad categories. Of course, no hard and fast why I choose these categories, but what I could, as per my limited knowledge, could do, I specified and categorized all these into these 7 headings. And we have already covered in the past 4 sessions, we have been able to cover only the 3 points. And I'll be starting from 4th point today, of course, but those 3 points have been massive. As you will see, of course, we will be able to finish up in today's session 4, 5, 6, and 7. And once I go through all these, I'll give you the ground rules as well, what we'll be covering and what we'll be not covering today. So I categorize all those pain points into various headings so that it becomes randomized, it becomes categorized and becomes easier for you to understand. So the first pain point was financial subheadings, pricing, bargaining, treatment charges, raising. And of course, patients will always keep on doing that. I gave a lot of truth bombs to you in the first session and the second session, of course, as well. So there were a lot of pain points in the financial pain category, because most of the time people always complain, rather people means dentists always complain that they have a hard time managing their finances. We covered about 22, 23 pain points in this category. Then we started with the productivity pain points, the biggest issue, the lack of footfall. Of course, many issues were around that, only lack of work-life balance, lack of time management, unproductive mornings and evenings, lack of high case conversion, the health is neglected, and we shut the topic there. And then with half of pain points of point 2 under this productivity category being covered. Then we did the second part on the same day on 12th of August, in which we started with a few scenarios, common scenarios that we all come across. And of course, those were mostly related to our female counterparts, those who face this peculiar problem of managing their household along with their clinics, along with balancing of their in-laws, their balancing of their income and whatnot. We all know that what all happens. So I took up 3 scenarios because some of them were not pain points, they were all full-blown headings. So this is you can say, then we started with the process pain points, and the third part. And of course there were a lot of headings which were there about the conversion part, the monetization of dental skills, consistency paths, how to marketing, how to do paid marketing, how to do organic marketing. I gave you a lot of insights into that, how to balance the organic and the paid marketing. People jump onto the paid marketing straight away and they forget that there are so many things before that needed to be done. It is about the validation part which the patients will be needing, because nobody is going to buy from you the first time they come across online. So then we continued with these points, of course, with the Google information, the idiot syndrome, the internet derived information obstructing syndrome, when the patients try to dictate to you the treatment plan. And of course, patients keep on delaying the treatment, and so many. There were a lot of process pain points, and about in the range of 90 plus, which carried on in the next sessions as well. So then of course discussing that, and we covered till 52, and before winding up. And then because the topics were not covered in that regard, so I took up the pain points session number 3, hoping to wind it by 4. But by the end of 3, I had already realized that it will not be covered in the 4 sessions as well. So I decided to extend it to 5. But of course, I gave a lot of gap in between so that people can assimilate the amount of information that I've shared, so that nothing goes overboard. Of course, those who attended that session, they benefited from it. Those who did not, it is their loss. So we started the pain point session number 3 with again a few common scenarios. We took up 2 or 3 scenarios in webinar number 2, but here I took up again most of them from our female counterparts. I took up around, I guess, 5 scenarios in there, because these all were day-to-day scenarios which were being faced by our female dentists. And of course, there were a lot of some people really had put their foot on the pedestal while writing about their pain points, and they were too open. And I always appreciate when people write detailed problems, detailed feedback, detailed you can say their viewpoint, because it is a very fast-paced world. किसी का बर्थडे भी आता है ना, तो हम लोग HBD लिख के खत्म कर देते हैं, and such is the world. And personal calling has become very out of the fashion these days. Social media पे HBD लिखा, भुगताया, काम खत्म, अपना काम खत्म. So it is just a more of a formality for many people. Just an example. I'm not correlating to my birthday. Don't please take me wrong. But I'm just telling you a commonest scenario that we all do. Many times I would have also done the same. Then scenario number 3, scenario number 4. Of course, these were the elaborative pain points that I wanted to discuss with the female dentists, those who had taken the pain to discuss these things with us. Of course, then we jumped down to session number in the same session. Then I took it up. Then after the scenarios, I took up the 7 foundational activities of the business: the marketing, sales, operations, R&D, accounts, HR, and management. Many would say that all the activities are not applicable to dentistry, but I told you the correlation on that, and of course, how to go about that task. And of course, marketing, what it is: lead generation; sales is revenue generation; operations is actual working. And we all crib that marketing is not working. Then about the R&D part, introducing new products and services, in our case, the services, the account and the finances part, the HR part, the staff part. Most of that we'll be taking up today in the support pain points as well in detail, most of these headings. So what are the 4 factors of staff? I'll be discussing and breaking them today as well. So we discussed all these things. And of course, told you in brief a few things, HR tips also, correlating with my 30th June session, which was taken up on managing staff. So many of you created, 23 of you, I guess, created a job description document in that 30th June session. And of course, I rewarded you for that also. But those 23 people, and of course, those who are attending might not be the common ones. But so that is the reason those who have watched both the sessions, they can easily correlate both the things. And of course, once we go through all the 6 core functions, the 7th function is the management. And if you are doing all 1 to 6 by yourself, it is not management, it is crisis management. Or in simple words, I don't call it management, I call it damagement. So what you are doing is damage to your business, not benefit to your business. And I told you about the needs and the wants. And of course, the needs, the new emerging and existing difficulties to be solved. The wants are what aspects are needed to be successful. And with that, we wound up the session number 3 as well, because every problem presents an opportunity, and the sooner we can, the best it is for us. Then we started with pain point session number 4 in the last week, on 30th of August, last week. That I took up from there where we had left the process pain points, and we had covered 52 points. So I started from 53 points, and of course carried on till almost 92 or 93 points, and we covered up all these headings in there. So this is it in the past 12-13 minutes, the summary of the previous 4 sessions. And with this, ladies and gentlemen, I begin the pain point finale session, part number 5. And before I start, I want to set a few ground rules for all of you. Of course, create your space for learning. If you're traveling, if you're on a bike, if you're on your car, then better है कि आप session से exit कर जाएं, because there is no point in learning over a walkable media. So you were already told about it. If you are not into this space, you'll have network fluctuation problems. So better है आप अभी leave कर जाएं. Then finish what you start. If you are willing to commit to stay till the end, then only stay. Otherwise, leave right now. Because why I say that is, don't take me in a wrong sense. Initiative will not give you results. It is the finitiative that will give you results. And then we had this scenario when I put up a question in front of group 1 or group 2 members and asked them to remember what you make out from what I had told yesterday. Many people could not recollect what I had told the previous day. So don't take snapshots only. You are free to take it, of course, but make a lot of notes, because you will not be getting the recording for sure. So participate fully, not physically, but mentally. So if you are on your way back home, if you have not reached home, it's your choice. Start happily and on a high, and end also on the same way. And always indulge in an energy exchange. When I type you to type something in the chat box, please do so happily. So I hope you plan to continue to stay with me, and I promise the session from my end will not cross 10 p.m. Of course, there might be queries after that, but whatever I'm saying, I'll try to wind up between 9:30 to 9:10. But 9:30 to 10 p.m. I'll try to wind up in the next 1 hour, 15 to 30 minutes from now. So I hope I'm clear to you. If I'm clear to you, type clear in the chat box, please, so that I can start the session. Those who are clear with what I have said about the ground rules today. Great to see that. So let's begin today's session with support pain points. So before I go into the first point, which is in itself a very, very huge point, you will say almost the whole HR is covered in that. Managing the assistants, associates, labs, dealers, and of course the patients. Is a HR, patient management, everything is covered in one line. So of course, we have done discussion of the patient's part, how to manage those parts. So I'll be dealing with the HR part in detail today. I have done a lot of that in the HR section of the foundation skills, but still I'll be dealing with those things in a different manner, I would say. So I always say that if you don't have the right team with you, then your life is a swaha, complete swaha. And do not ignore this facet or aspect of dentistry, because the staff is really the maibab of your business. Whether you want to believe it or not, they can make or mar your reputation. They can make or mar your business. They can make or mar the total productivity and the output of your business. And that is where we actually commit a problem. We just try to hire people based on salary, based on price point. Isn't it? Everything around us is based on the price point. You come across a workshop, what is the price? You come across a staff member, what will you take as a salary? We don't go into the other details, what that person can offer to us. We don't value the price and the value part. That is the most discouraging thing in today's scenario. Without even looking at what the other person can offer, we try into how much salary will you take? Or sometimes it is the vice versa also. The staff will not ask you what work is to be done. They'll ask you aap kitna pay karoge. So it is a both way thing. I'm not saying they are not like that, but then I'll keep my focus today on ourselves, what changes we can bring on ourselves. Otherwise, if I go on the staff management and the HR part alone in detail of my, again, the paid workshop takes around 4 to 5 hours itself. So I'm not going to spend that much amount of time. So many a times when we see these things happening, what are the fundamental thing about it? Because we all believe that it is about the management part, but where does it start from? Of course, correlating the session number 3 and correlating the session taken on 30th June, I'll be giving you those points. So it starts number 1 with hiring the right people. When you don't hire right people, you always will get disastrous results. So of course, we all make mistakes. How to hire, how to go about that path, I've given you that ask mindset, and of course the iceberg competency model in comparison with the star rated questions, star review questions that I told you in that session of 30th June. So many believe that hiring is a waste of time, waste of expense. Trust me guys, it is not. If you don't hire proper employees, it will rather increase your expenses. So activate your Divya Shakti today, I would say. Don't say that we have been there, done there, hum dekha hai, staff thodi der baad is tarah ho jata hai and all that thing. Don't do that. We all have faced problems. Even I faced problems immediately after COVID. I still continue to face them. Of course, there was a good period when I had a lot of loyal staff. For a good amount of, for a lot of period of time, I had good loyal staff, many of them. But yes, I also had off and on people who are not willing to stay, who were on the wrong side. You can say they were just interested in the monetary benefits and nothing else. So as I said, hiring is an expense for those people who hire incapable people because of their own incapability in hiring. This is the line which was told to me by my mentor. So we always ask the wrong questions. Are you committed? Are you hardworking? Are you willing to stay forever? What will be the answer? It is a no-brainer. Are you hardworking? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Are you committed to stay forever? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Are you open to learning? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. And you feel that you have got the ideal job candidate, where in fact we have asked the questions like the standard Miss Universe, Miss World questions. The standard questions are in the Miss Universe and the Miss World finale are, what will we do if you get the crown? You know what the answers are. This is not a crown. This comes with a lot of responsibility. If I get the crown, I'll make sure that Mother Earth does not bleed anymore. I'll make sure that the children don't stay hungry. I'll make sure there's a good amount of equality. I'll make sure that the ozone layer is not depleted. Really? Are you sure you will be doing this? Please, jaan de yaar, kyun jhoot bol rahi hai? But this is the standard question. All that she's interested in a Yash Chopra and a Karan Johar debut. That's the pain point for them. So the standard questions will be a standard answers. So if you agree with me, please type agree in the chat box. So most of the times these things are going to happen. But if you ask the wrong questions, you will get the wrong answers. So these are meaningless questions. A wrong employee is like a useless son-in-law who demands फोकट की respect, फोकट का खाना. We all know that. So don't ask meaningless questions, and so that they get a free, you get a, you can say, a useless son-in-law in terms of a candidate. So screen properly, evaluate your ask, evaluate the attitude, skill, and knowledge. Of course, I've done in detail in the 30 June session. I'll not be going into detail of ask today. So you pay them, you can say, according to their, you can say, caliber, acumen, or what. The thing is, we need to realize that we need to pay them as per at least equivalent to their market price. If not more, not less, at least equivalent to their market price. Don't, if you aim at shabby things to pay less and get more work, nobody is such a fool that they will do such a thing in such an activity. Then the second most important part after hiring is delegate clear goals to them, which should align with their capability, personality, and their skill set. It is basically, you can say in marketing, as they say, मैंने एक बंदा रखा हुआ है leads के लिए या door to door calling के लिए. वो आज छुट्टी है तो आज वो कॉल नहीं कर सकता, तो आज वो फ्री है ऑफिस में, चल भाई तू काम कर ले, ये यू डू द वर्क ऑफ फाइनेंस अकाउंट्स, he'll say the numbers are Greek and Roman to me, how can I handle it? So this is the way people believe in fake motivation. They'll see, I can see the spark in your eyes. It is like saying to a fish, bowl mein se nikali, dear fish, you have fins, please try to fly. Yes, you can do it, my dear fish, yes, you can do it. And the fish will say, oye idiot, niche dal, main mar jaungi. It is like not aligning with their skill set. So if you ask a fish to fly because it has fins, it will not be doing that. That is where you commit a mistake. Now, do you expect a Sachin Ramesh Tendulkar, or Sachin Tendulkar, of course, one of the greatest Indian batsmen, if not the greatest of all. So one of the Indian most, you can say, greatest batsmen of all time. You ask him to sing a Rag Bhairavi. He can't do that. If you make him do that, Bhairavi will rise from her grave and die again. That is the bottom line. So don't ask them to do which does not align. Ask him to score a century and he will score a century. But don't ask a Sachin Tendulkar to do a Rag Bhairavi. So that is where you have to identify people what they are good at. Of course, with training, you can make them learn it in the task they are not good at. That is where you have to identify. ये पेपर वर्क अच्छा करता है, ये पेशेंट मैनेजमेंट, पेशेंट के अराउंड अच्छा बात, ये मैनेज अच्छा करता है, especially for people those who have multiple staff members. So what aligns with that and what does not align with that, train them. That is where I said 4 goals of you can say, when you hire a staff, the staff motivation lies in, or the staff productivity lies in the 4 points. You pay them well, you make them you can say enhance their capability and courage, you give them work-life balance, and of course you don't abuse them and give them respect. So these are the 4 aspects. So if you feel that this staff member is eager to learn, willing to learn, and you can spend some time, can do some investment, so you can train them, which enhances their skill set, and then it will be an asset for your clinic as well. So give them work that aligns with their role. अब जो पेपर वर्क हैंडल करता है उसको बोलो कि आज तुम पेशेंट वर्क करो, इट विल नॉट हैपन इफ ही इज नॉट ट्रेन्ड इन दैट. बट वी ट्राई टू डू, सब कुछ आना चाहिए, व्हाई नॉट? बिकॉज पीपल ऑलवेज ट्राई टू प्ले अ रोडीज और खतरों के खिलाड़ी. ये टास्क है तुम्हारा, आज तुम ये खत्म करोगे. वी आर नॉट प्लेइंग रोडीज और खतरों के खिलाड़ी, रिमेंबर दिस पार्ट. एंड वी ऑलवेज ट्राई टू, यू कैन से नई नई स्ट्रैटेजीज बनाते हैं. हाउ कैन आई स्क्रू माई एम्प्लॉइज हैप्पीनेस टुनाइट और टुडे, कैसे मैं इसको ये कैसे इतना खुश रहता है, आज इसको मैं कौन सा काम दूं कि हंसता हुआ वापस ना आ जाए. दैट इज बेसिकली अ रिवेंज माइंडसेट दैट वी हैव समटाइम्स. सो रादर देन दैट we have to indulge in a praise in public and criticize in private mindset. Appreciate their work if they are doing well. Where they are not doing well, give them a feedback, give them a specific respectful feedback. If you don't give them a specific respectful feedback, I don't know, something is missing in what you do. I can't define it. अरे यार, जो देख रहा है आपको नहीं पता है काम, तो मैं कैसे बता सकता हूँ मेरे में क्या है? आप मेरे को क्लियरली बताओ. That is where it is specific and respectful feedback to give them. And when you enable them in a different way, that is where their true performance and true productivity will come out. Now, this is the third point actually as well. When you review their performance and give them a specific feedback. So develop people by giving them constant, specific and respectful feedback. You don't own them, you can say. Because these days, बोलो ना, ये लोग ना जो होते हैं ना, ये छोटे लोग जो होते हैं ना, that is our mindset actually. Most of us, if not all, most of us, ये जो छोटे लोग होते हैं ना, इनकी मेंटालिटी होती है, इनको 2 गालियां जब तक पड़े ना, ये सेट नहीं रहते हैं. And that is the one. आज के डेट में आप अपने बच्चे को गाली निकाल के दिखाओ, those of you are married, वापस कुछ ना कुछ सुनने को मिल जाएगा. So आज की डेट में बच्चा गाली नहीं सुनता, बड़ों से कैसे एक्सपेक्ट करते कि वो सुनेगा? So if you have a temper problem, it is your problem. Anger is the sign of an insecure leader. So try to curb your anger at your workplace. Don't take it out on your staff members. And even if you're frustrated, don't make your staff the target. कि आज इस पे मैं I'll be angry, aggressive, abusive. You can say I'll show him my animosity. You will not yield anything out of that. So Always, when you have to give a feedback, when you feel that the staff member is not doing something right, always give them a specific feedback. People give a feedback like, think outside the box. The staff is wondering, which box? Matchbox or lunchbox? Said, pull up your socks. I'm wearing ankle high socks today. I'll wear full length socks today. So I'll do that tomorrow. Think at next level. I am at ground floor right now, so I should go to first floor and think. That is, I think my boss wants it. Something is missing. It is not a solutionable or an actionable feedback. And that is where we all realize it is all vague. Unless you give them specific things, I simply call it, it is known as Angrezi mein bakchodi. That is the simple answer to what we all do it. So if you resonate with me, type AMB in the chat box, Angrezi mein bakchodi. So actionable feedback is the answer. If you're not giving an actionable, specific, and of course a respectful feedback, you do not get the desired results. And of course, when you say something is missing, I don't know, something is just missing. That feeling is because of the rajma chawal that you ate yesterday night. So that something missing is that feeling of bloating in your stomach, which you're trying to vent out on your staff. So try to remember and resonate with that, whatever you're getting. Then the fourth point is actually training and developing people, their skill set upgradation. As you say, if they are open to learning, if they want to develop new skills, develop them. Because once they learn new things, they can be an asset for your clinic. And that is where you can reverse their roles in the clinic as well. The receptionist can double up as your staff, you can say your patient assistant, and the patient assistant can double up as that. That will break their monotony also in whatever they do. And that will bring a spark in their life as well. Yes, and that will bring about new results for you as well. Yeah, ये लड़का यहाँ पे तो अच्छा करता था, उस फील्ड में ज्यादा अच्छा करता है. That is the way. Of course, ladka hai ladki, whatever. No gender bias here, but just trying to give you an example. Because sometimes, unless you go into that arena which is unexplored, you will not get the results. So this is the number 4 point. So number 5 points is that do scientific, you can say, do salary appraisals scientifically. People always, you can say, base their you can say, salary appraisal on the, not on the performance, but on their personal bias. Sometimes people have those staff members, those who say, boss, I have that, you can say, the neighboring clinic is offering me this much amount of upgrade in the salary if I join over there. And you will like, if this staff member goes, my clinic secrets would be out. As if you are building a ship for NASA. आपके सारे secrets चले जाएंगे अगर आपका staff वहां चला गया. And that staff member blackmails you to give you a 20% raise. Now, another staff member who has been loyal, who has been genuine, that staff member, you give a 10% raise. And then we the one who has blackmailed, we said, okay, I'll give you a raise, but do mother promise that you will not tell this to the other people in the staff. Mother promise, actually, are we kindergarten kids playing kitchen? What are we doing? Mother promise, father promise, Pitra promise, Sarpadosh promise, nothing will last. They'll always share their salary. I got 20% raise. Now the loyal staff member will feel, where have I committed a mistake? या तो बॉस बेवकूफ है, इसको तो सही बंदे की कदर ही नहीं है, जो धमकी दे अपना काम करवा ले. And this is the way we do the things. This happens in most of the businesses. This happens in multi practices as well. So this is where you need to realize that specific feedback is the answer, and doing those salary appraisals in a scientific manner, where you give weightage to each and every portion. That what is this is our role clarity. What are the goals that you have fulfilled? This is your daily roster. How many times you have been attendance wise present, which is your, you can say, your work wise results, who has been the employee of the month for that time. So this is the way you come to that people. Now, this is the 5th point. So if you don't do a proper salary appraisal, it will create, you can say, ego conflicts in the staff. And of course, it is simple as that. As I've said before also, your staff is a reflection of your skills and your capabilities. If you are confused, they'll be also confused. Then the 6th most important step is firing the wrong people, which we don't do. Now, firing does not mean you have to be exploitative, dictatorial, or authoritative. It means you have to develop the non-performers, giving them a fair and square chance. Some people might be slow learners. सबसे पहले एक्टिविटी डेंटल मटेरियल्स में, एक जब डेंटल कॉलेज में ग्रेजुएट जाता ना, वो 1x1 या 2x2 का जो एक क्यूब बनाने को दिया जाता पीओपी से. रिमेंबर दैट? I made 38 cubes and I still could not get it perfect. 38 के बाद मेरे टीचर ने मेरे को बोला, भाई तू रहने दे, तेरे से नहीं होगा, मैं तेरे को दे देती हूँ ग्रेड. She gave me a B minus. Fine. If I was a slow learner at that point of time in hand scales, why do we expect that the staff would be a quick learner? That is where we have to understand. You develop them, and even after developing, training, they don't perform, give them a feedback, give them a timeline. If they still don't come up to the results, then of course, it is the time to fire them. But then this is for the non-performance. There are staff who are lying, cheating, stealing, manipulative, dishonest. Those staff need to be shown the door right away. Right away. You can say, ये मेरा स्टाफ मेरा लेफ्ट हैंड है, मुझे मालूम है थोड़ी सी चोरी करता है, बट ये जिस तरह से मैनेज करता है, इतनी सैलरी में और कोई काम नहीं करेगा, ये इतने का काम मैनेज करता है, हमारा गल्ला 5 लाख का महीने का, तो उसमें से अगर 10-20 हजार ले भी लेता तो क्या फर्क पड़ता है, सारा मैनेज करता है, इसकी जगह कोई और आएगा तो वो क्या करेगा. वी नो इट. नाउ द स्टाफ अगेन, दिस विल डेवलप अ ईगो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट. दूसरे स्टाफ को पता है कि दूसरे एक स्टाफ चोरी कर रहा है या कुछ कर रहा है. He'll try to come bring to your notice. He'll say, I know it. Said, even if you know it, you are not taking any action. That is where the problem comes. So we need to understand, if you are seeing those things and ignoring them, it is a reflection of your own capability and skills, and you can say your own mindset. So don't go into that part. Don't delve into that territory where you have to do that. So stop blaming your team if they don't perform, because you have actually, we can say, build up your office culture like this only. So you always then try to manage things. So these are the 6 steps where you can say we can go about management of the staff, right from the hiring to the firing, in between training and developing, giving them a feedback, developing them, and of course, giving them a scientific appraisal. This is the way you can manage assistants, associates, and of course, most of your staff members in that regard. Now, coming to labs and dealers part, I've taken up a detailed session on this already, on management of your lab already. So I'll not be going on much of detail, but again, they also need to be, the labs, they need to be paid well. They need to be paid on time, and they need to be, you can say, respected for also. So there should be a equation. Don't change your lab for a, you can say, a difference in 50 rupees or 100 rupees in the lab cost per unit. I've seen people do that even for 25 rupees in my town. वो 25 रुपए में कम दे रहा, 25 रुपए यार, 25 रुपए में एक बर्गर नहीं आता आज की डेट में. And you're changing a lab for, if somebody is giving you for 300, 350, you're changing lab, is giving for 275. Don't do it. Don't do it. You are setting a wrong culture. Again, this will shadow onto your staff also, and this will shadow onto your patients also. फिर आप कहते हो मेरे पास ऐसे पेशेंट्स नहीं आते. अगर आपका माइंडसेट वैसा होगा तो आपके पेशेंट्स भी वैसे आएंगे ना जैसा आपका माइंडसेट है. Your vibe attracts your tribe. The way you behave, you will attract those kind of people only. The way you are. If you are money minded, you will attract those people who are money minded. जो conversion नहीं होंगे. If you are having a scarce mindset, not an abundance mindset, you will develop those people who have an abundance or your scarce mindset. Those will say हम सोच के बताएंगे, conversion नहीं हो रही है. We try to look into those factors. Then group practice, working with associate. Of course, when we come to group practice, I always encourage that don't make sure that the associate is your best friend. The best friend may not be the best clinician that you require, but then sometimes we don't have the courage to tell that on the face. And sometimes I always say this part, you have to be professional in your workspace. And if you are professional in your workspace, nothing can beat it, that you are hiring the right people. When I say hire the right people, that covers associates also in that part. Then which work needs to be done by ourselves and which ones to delegate. Lack of delegation clarity, not being able to delegate my practice by appointing an associate dentist, because you don't want to create your clones. You are the best in your business, and if you are the best in your business, you are doing 1 to 6 activities, the foundational activities. And if you are doing 1 to 6 foundational activities, who the bloody hell is doing the seventh activities? That is why I call it is not management. It is damagement. So you are damaging your business because you are Mr. Amir Khan. You are Mr. Perfect. If somebody, you want to work like you do, train people, spend some time, develop their skill set, whether it is an associate or what. Of course, if it is an associate, he must be a graduate or a postgraduate. I'm not saying he's not an illiterate person. So you just need to make a little modification that I want my work to be like this. But then for that, you need to be having your skill set as perfect. If somebody gives you an opinion, sir, this used to happen like this. Now the concepts have changed. Please don't mind my thing. Now the things are done in this ways. Be open to learning yourself also. We reply back. तुम्हें ज्यादा पता है 20 साल से क्लिनिक मैं चला रहा हूं तुम चला रहे हो हाउ द हेल यू ट्राई टू टेल मी थिंग्स वो चुप कर जाता है बेचारा उसको पता लग जाता है कि यहाँ पे दाल नहीं गलेगी इट्स बेटर टू चेंज वर्क प्लेस या अपना जिप इट अप योर लिप कुछ ना बोलो काम करो पैसा लो जाओ दैट्स द वे द पीपल वर्क because there is the owner is authoritative dictatorial and trying to you can say control things when you try to control all the things nothing works you are doing crisis management only then staff management and retention I think I've told you good enough points they need 4 things they need good salary at least equivalent to the market price they need training and skill development they need work life balance they need respect full culture at the workplace. How to go about choosing a good associate? I already told you. Need not be a friend, should be a man or a woman or a person or a dentist, of course, laden with good skill sets and good patient management skills. Even if not good patient management skills, you can develop that. But of course, if you are choosing associate for a purpose, you need to have some skill set at least. And then again, you need to give a clarity to yourself first. What exactly are you looking at? What do you want from that associate? Give him that. That is why the JD is so important. The job description document. That मेरे associate से मुझे ये काम लेना है. That's it. अब उसके में अगर आपने उसको पेपर वर्क दिया है पेशेंट मैनेजमेंट दिया बात करने का दिया हिस्ट्री टेकिंग का दिया कंप्यूटर एंट्रीज का काम दिया है या छोटा मोटा मिसलेनियस काम दिया है तो वो स्किल्ड है या नहीं है आपको क्या फर्क पड़ता है अब दूसरी बात उसके पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से वो आपके पास टिकेगा कि नहीं बिकॉज ही इज कम फॉर एक्सपोजर अगर वो एडमिन वो काम कर रहा है मिसलेनियस काम कर रहा है या सिर्फ स्केलिंग कर रहा है या पॉलिशिंग कर रहा है या मिसलेनियस काम कर रहा है सारे काम कर रहा है या मोबाइल टू एक्सट्रैक्शन कर रहा है तो व्हाई विल ही स्टे ऑल्सो देन यू विल से आजकल के लड़कों को हिम्मत ही नहीं हम लोग थे हम अपने टाइम पे सारे काम करते थे अब लोग कुछ भी नहीं करते दैट इज वेयर द डिफरेंस कम्स वी डोंट हैव अ क्लैरिटी व्हाट वी वांट फ्रॉम देम बट वी एक्सपेक्ट अ हाई स्किल सेट दीपक हुडा को आपने टीम में डाल लिया एज अ रिप्लेसमेंट फॉर यू कैन से रविंद्र जडेजा बट व्हाट वाज रविंद्र जडेजा डूइंग he was batting and bowling and of course he's an exceptional fielder of course Huda is a very good fielder as well he's a good batsman as well he showed it in the previous West Indies series where he opened and scored a century but you are making him come at number 7 you are not using him for bowling if you are using him for this purpose then what harm has DK Dinesh Karthik done अगर एज ए फिनिशर यूज करना तो DK is a better option पाकिस्तान की टीम में फोर्थ ओवर से लेके 20th ओवर तक लेफ्ट हैंडर बैट कर रहा था चाहे नवाज था चाहे खुशदिल था चाहे कोई भी था बट दे नेवर यूज्ड एन ऑफ स्पिनर ऑफ कोर्स आई अंडरस्टैंड दे आर एक्सपेरिमेंटिंग टू बिल्ड अप अ गुड स्टेबल टीम फॉर द वर्ल्ड कप बट व्हेन यू हैव द रिसोर्सेज एंड यू डोंट यूज इट यू आर द वर्स्ट इडियट्स ऑफ ऑल टाइम आज किसी ने वीडियो भी डाला हुआ है यूट्यूब के ऊपर जब ये हार जाते तो ये बोलते हैं हमारी लर्निंग नहीं खत्म होती Again, it is a fun way. Don't take it seriously. But that is the way things go. That is the way things go. If you don't make of the use of the resources, you are left yourself. अगर हुडा को 7 पे यूज करना है बॉलिंग नहीं करवानी है तो डीके को लगा लो यार ही इज अ गुड फील्डर ही इज अ गुड कैप्टन यू कैन से गुड कीपर एज वेल सो यूज हिज स्किल्स बट नहीं माइंडसेट की बात है you have a fixed mindset rotational players karni hai you could have tried Deepak Huda to that opening again Kohli is opening will he be opening the World Cup no he'll be playing at number 3 But again, Rohit is resting. You could have made Deepak Huda explore that option. You made Sky open up in the previous series for 3 or 4 matches, Surya Kumar Yadav, and he's not going to open in the World Cup. That is for sure. You made Pant open for 1 or 2 matches. You never tried that again. I think 1 match only. You never tried that. But that is the way things work. This is the mindset. You don't use your resources, you are an idiot. So you decide how you want to choose a good associate. काम क्या लेना उससे, आपको clarity चाहिए पहले. Management is about 4 functions: clarity, competency, capability and courage. बहुत लोगों के पास clarity नहीं होती, बात वहीं खत्म हो जाती है. कुछ लोगों के पास clarity होती है, yes I want this work to be done. Then they don't have the capability. You can develop the capability. You don't have the competency, you can develop the you can say capability and competency both. Once you have the clarity, you develop the capability, you develop the competency, then अगर मैंने ये किया तो वो हो जाएगा. वो डर का माहौल, that is where you commit a mistake. That is where you require the courage. All these 3 factors are combined 20% or 30%. Courage is the 70%. It requires courage to take the first step, which people don't do. Version 1 is better than version none. Create a shabby version. Don't wait for that perfect moment to make a perfect Thugs of Hindustan or a perfect Mela. It will never be. If it is a disaster, let it be. But then at least you have a reference point. ये मेरा पहला वीडियो देखो मैं कैसे कर रहा हूँ. 10 साल बाद आप देखोगे, आप कहोगे, yeah, wow, this is the way I used to look. I remember once, it was in 2005 or 6. 2 of my very, very good friends, Dr. Navjot and Dr. Rajan. So we were planning a teachers training program from IDA in a school. Of course, they came to my home and we started rehearsing and practicing. By that time, I had not started speaking up. I started my speaking, you can say my speaker career in late in 2007, September 2007. I started with the Famden conference 15 years back. But it was late 2006 only. I had a stammering problem. I used to stammer a bit. And you can say I was always searching for words sometimes. And they were sitting in my room. And when I spoke, used to correct me. When I spoke, they used to correct me. They corrected me at least 15, 16 times. And I was there. यार मेरे को बोलने तो दे नहीं रहे हो आप. They said we are trying to correct you. Of course, I took their feedback seriously. But and out of that, to overcome that fear of, you can say, speaking publicly, fear of facing the camera, offline, of course, not the online. The online started 2 years back. The fear of, you can say, overcoming my problem of stammering in childhood, which was, of course, decreased at that time. I started speaking. For the first 5 years, I was speaking on you can say, very different topics: biomedical waste management in clinic, computers in dental practice, marketing in dentistry, the broad view. Of course, at that point, it was a totally different without social media. So for the first 5 years, I spoke on all these different topics. But when I see myself, I have the recording of that Famden. Famden used to record the videos. तो मेरे पास आज भी उसकी वीडियो की रिकॉर्डिंग पड़ी है. कभी कभी मेरे को आता था, I laugh at that. अरे यार मैं ऐसे बोलता था. And people see me speaking today. I was speaking, you can say, in this past Saturday on 3rd of June in Delhi in Synergy conference. So one of my college mates, he had heard me last in Jaipur in 2012. Medical legal ethics. I gave a lecture in the IDA conference over there. He said, I listened to you last over there. There is a sea change. He said, I would say there is an ocean change. You speak so well, you speak so confidently, you have that authority in your voice when you speak. That stems from the knowledge you have, maybe you have overcome that defect. I could find you were searching for words, you were slurring with your speech at that point of time. I remember that. But it is a totally different scenario. That is my version 10 today. That was my version 1 at that point in 2006 or 7. 2012 was probably version number 3 or 4. This is the way you develop over a period of time. So अगर आप चाहते हो कि आपका स्टाफ पहले दिन परफेक्ट हो जाए, आपका एसोसिएट हो जाए, तो आप अपने डेंटल मटेरियल्स के फर्स्ट ईयर में जाइए कि आपने कितनी बारी में 1/1 या 2/2 क्यूब पीओपी की कितनी परफेक्ट बनाई थी, कितनी बारी में बनाई थी. I could not make it even after 38 times. I can say it proudly. But yes, that doesn't define me as a clinician. I'm an astute clinician. I can, you can say, very, very correctly, minutely diagnose patients' pain points of what they have come to me. In spite of doing what I am doing, I am still working for 8 to 9 hours a day in my clinic. and that is still my primary source of income. What I'm trying to say is that one moment that I could not make a block does not define you, that you will not be a good dentist. So one time you don't speak well does not define that you will not speak that for life. One time you don't create that job clarity document does not mean you will do same mistakes. We all learn from mistakes. That is where we have to understand this point of time. And staff, बोलते हैं ना, staff is, मैं भी बोलता हूँ हर बार, staff is your right hand, lab is your left hand, and without these two arms the dentist is actually armless, and we don't realize this point. गौर गोपाल दास जी says, जो सुख में साथ देते हैं वो होते हैं रिश्ते, जो दुख में साथ देते हैं वो होते हैं फरिश्ते. So your staff is your farishte. If you resonate with my mindset, type MS in the chat box. It makes sense to you. Staff are the ones who are going to stand with you in your painful times in your clinic, because the majority of your professional time you're standing in your clinic. And the day you start valuing your staff, your mindset changes about them, that they are also human, they are also prone to mistakes. Look at your mistakes and then see them. Remember your mistakes and then see them. Remember your version 102, whatever it was, and then see them. Now, why I talk about these version 1, 2, or 3, all these things, because it is related to your marketing also. लोग बोलते हैं मैं नहीं वीडियो बना सकता, मैं नहीं फीडबैक दे सकता, मैं नहीं टेस्टिमोनियल दे सकता. पेशेंट से मांगना टेस्टिमोनियल. यू आर नॉट डूइंग इट फॉर समवन, you want it from your patient, they will not give you, for sure. They will not give you, for sure. Remember that. Your wife will attract your tribe. Remember that point always. बनाओ. आर्टिकल नहीं लिखना आता, 4 लाइनों का लिखो, 50 वर्ड्स का लिखो, 25 वर्ड्स का लिखो, 100 वर्ड्स का लिखो, ब्लॉग्स लिखो. Be visible. Tattoo that on your forearm. If you have a good product or a service, it is your duty to reach out to the public. Tattoo that on your left forearm today. If you can't, then you are doing a crime. Then frequent issues with chair and other equipment. Be trained in that. Make that as a learning goal. Staff not behaving well professionally with, start not behaving professionally with the patients. Teach them. If you are behaving the same with the staff, or if they see you behaving the same with the patients, why will they do so? It all stems from the management. What the management does, you can say the herd mentality follows that. Remember that. Paid associate dentist not thinking of clinic benefits but own. Because your hiring mindset was wrong. You did not align that with the ask mindset. You did not hire, you hired a Mr. Universe or a Mr. World who said yes to all your preliminary questions. So he's not a good associate. He is a useless son-in-law. Remember that. So being a small town, lack of availability of good chair technician and good quality materials in local market. These are not pain points. These are handicaps. If you don't have a good chair technician, buy from the dealers who can give you support. खरीदने से पहले उनको पूछो. Sales is not important. Service is important. Will you give it? Buy a branded chair who will send a clinician, do an AMC with them, who maybe will do an additional charge AMC. लोगों से 2000-3000 रहते हैं, आपसे 5000 ले लेगा, पर आपको सर्विस ऑन साइट मिलेगी. Do it. Spend some money. Don't say there are not. People will always be ready. उसको TADA मिलेगा, आने का मिलेगा, तो वो क्यों नहीं आएगा? Good quality materials in local market. Buy in bulk. अपनी यूजेज, अपनी कंजम्पशन पहचानो, अपने 2-bin सिस्टम बनाओ, अपने रेड लेवल्स मार्क करो. Then what is your consumption pattern? What are the usage? उसके हिसाब से आप अपने आप को करो. So these are not handicaps. These are not pain points. These are just handicaps we weave around us. कि ये बहुत बड़ी problem. Google educated patients who don't trust our treatment. Thank you. Bye bye, Mr. 28. I have already told this many times. He is one of those 28 patients. Let him go. Let him go. Don't try to pull him back. Lack of awareness among patients. Is this a pain point? No, it's not. Lack of awareness among patients का मतलब क्या है? ऊपर से कोई बिजली गिरेगी, उनके दिमाग में लगेगी और उनको सारा ज्ञान आ जाएगा. किसने देनी है अवेयरनेस? आपने देनी है. सर इतना टाइम नहीं होता. कौन स्पेंड करे इतना टाइम? कीजिए टाइम स्पेंड. This is going to grow dividend or give dividends to you in future. This is going to give you the returns. And if you don't look at those returns, it is you who will be losing out of it. Lack of awareness in the public that reflects as it is only a toothache. How serious could the underlying problem be? To create the awareness. Again, creating the awareness is going to give you so many options. It is going to make you visible in the public. It is going to do your silent marketing. It is going to give you visibility. It is going to sell people your knowledge and acumen कि यार इस बंदे को knowledge है. People come to my lectures and webinars, they know that this person will be giving us something useful. Otherwise अपना डिनर छोड़ के इंडिया का मैच छोड़ के 65 लोग यहाँ पे क्यों बैठे? There must be some reason. जो नहीं बैठे उनकी चॉइस है, उनकी प्रायोरिटीज है अपनी अपनी. I don't blame them. But if you are not creating this thing, see, one activity of information and awareness is going to give you so many benefits I've just spelled out. Organic marketing है ये. अगर आप बाहर जाके करेंगे अवेयरनेस, अपने आसपास नेटवर्किंग करेंगे, दिस इज ऑर्गेनिक मार्केटिंग. ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड. if you have attended the previous 4 sessions, you must be this thing. बोलते ना एक बैट्समैन जो 20 ओवर से बैटिंग कर रहा है उसको बॉल नहीं दिखती, उसको फुटबॉल दिख रही होती है. तो if you have attended previous 4 sessions, this point would be appearing like a football to you. So try to understand this. Less awareness in tier 3 cities, like patient opting for extraction, imperfectly savable tooth, even after explaining the pros and the cons. I always give an example of my dear friend, Dr. Ashish Karve from Neral. Neral is just a small village, and he is doing pretty much high-class dentistry in that small village. I've personally been to that village. I had a workshop in Mahad in February 2018. So it was a 2-day workshop. I did it under the banner of Idea Raipur. But I saw Ashish, छोटा सा है यार, तुम लोग कहाँ कैसे कर लेते हो सब कुछ? It is all about conveying the people the right things. And if you can convey people right things, the rest of the things are excuses. If you are not making an effort yourself, you don't have the right to blame the patients. अगर वो patient extraction opt कर रहे हैं, so because उनके mind में awareness नहीं है. If you are in a tier 3 city, you have a small group. Arrange sessions from them. Village panchayat के साथ associate होके करिए. If it is a village kind of a thing. If it is a small city, you can say it is a small group, maybe with a Red Cross, maybe with a Lions Bhavan, maybe with a Rotary, whatever way you feel that the people, more and more people can encourage to come under one umbrella, go for it. Create awareness. अगर आप नहीं awareness create करेंगे तो कौन करेगा? And don't blame that if patients choose that method. Families and in-laws think that it is own setup so we can take leave and shut it anytime. They don't value the hard work we take to build up the practice. It is about the two-way communication. The way you communicate to your respective families is going to give you results. If the husband, of course, this came from a female dentist, I can very well understand. So if the dentist, if the male dentist or the male counterpart can do the same in request to focus, why can't the female do it? So it is your duty to tell them that you can say attendance over there is compulsory, but then you have to work around your schedule. Your primary responsibilities should not be neglected at the cost of your career. That is for sure. You have to make such a cycle where it is a win-win situation for everyone. Of course, even till today, I always say family is the first priority. Work is not your life. Professional work is just a part of your professional life. It is not your whole life. जो staff पे applicable होते हैं ना 4 चीजें, payment, respect and care, work-life balance, and of course training and development, वो आप पे भी apply होते हैं. You also need to carry a good amount home so that your family can enjoy or make the uses of that money. It is not only about the needs. You have to maintain a work-life balance. It should not be a 9 to 9 misery for you. Then you have to create a respectful culture where everybody gets respected. And if you give respect, you will get respect in your family as well. And of course, the fourth one, you should be open to learning always. आप perfect पैदा नहीं हुए हो, जो नई चीजें आती, make that as a learning goal. It is as simple as that. Assistants, they quit the job whenever they want without any prior notice. Learn them how to leave you. When I tell this, people say, sir, आप क्या बात बोल रहे हो? एक तो वैसे जाने को तैयार होते हैं, हम उनके, why to put it in their head? You need to put it in their head very, very clearly. We are open to leaving you. Please feel free to leave, but always give a prior notice so that we can manage or transfer the work done by you to someone else so that we can delegate it. And if you want to start something where you need our help, we are always open to support you. स्टाफ आपके साथ वीआरएस थोड़ा ना लेगा. आज के डेट में बच्चे अपने माँ बाप के साथ नहीं रहना चाहते बड़े होने के बाद. आप स्टाफ चाहते हो आपके साथ सारी जिंदगी रहे. It is okay. It is okay for people to leave you for greener pastures, for more growth, more, you can say, development in their industry, wherever they want to. It is okay, but train them how to leave. 2 out of 10 people will still commit a harakiri, but 8 will at least adhere to this part. So when you tell them how to leave properly, people 8 out of 10 will agree to this. The thing staff loses or breaks in our clinic, it really hurts. When you tell them properly which are the things to be handled with care, they will handle with care. If you find them handling small things like glass slab in a shabby manner, or maybe it is their handicap कि उनके हाथ में टिकती नहीं, गिर जाती, तो उनको आप महंगी चीज दो ही मत. Again, this should align with their personality. People will say, अब sir, छोटे clinics में I have only one staff member, what should I do? Then do that work yourself. If you can't trust that staff member to handle that expensive thing, that वो बाहर से ड्रॉर में रखना या अंदर कैबिनेट में रखना या अलमारी में रखना is not a big job. Do it yourself. गिर तो आपसे भी सकती है ना. That is but natural. So either train them, or you can say see that skill set that aligns with their capability and do it. Patients have lack of trust, constant judgment about prices and treatment authenticity comparison with other dentists. Try to create an awareness, sell them properly, convince them properly. If they are still not convinced, leave that part. Not everybody walking through your door is your patient. Period. Bye-bye, Mr. 28. That is the only answer. But then if you have constantly this number as not Mr. 28, but this number is Mr. 72, and you are getting the reverse, that your 28 are converting and 72 are saying Mr. Bye-bye, or they are Mr. Bye-bye patients, then you need to have an inward journey into yourself, that you might be wrong somewhere. Maybe you are not that adept in convincing your patients. Maybe you are not that, you can say, cool enough or convinced enough, or maybe you are आप थोड़ा डरते बताते हो, you are not confident of selling your skill set. That is where the problem comes. Consultant since 10 years, managing consultations has become a task now. You can't dedicate time to family life suffers. 4 रूल याद रखना दोस्त, वो जो मैंने बोले स्टाफ के लिए, वो आप पे भी एप्लीकेबल है. Cut down on your work. Ultimately, it is the private practice that is going to give you the most. Period. 1000 कंसल्टेशन कर लो महीने की, 500 कर लो, 100 कर लो, 20 कर लो. At the end of the day, जो क्लिनिक में कमाओगे, that is a good output. My brother was telling me about his batchmate. My brother is 5 years younger to me. He passed out in 2003. So he told me one of his batchmates who passed with him is that he works from I think 6 to 9 in the evening, or 5 to 9 in the evening, and after that he goes home, watches a web series, carries on till 3 or 4 p.m. सुबह 12 बजे उठता है, फिर देख के कोई वेब सीरीज मूवी लगा लेता है, शाम को क्लिनिक जाता है. 4 घंटे बहुत है मेरे लिए क्लिनिक, and he earns much more in those 4 hours. This is all about priorities. Wrong or right, it is for you to decide. But he is happy, his family is happy that he is here at least 20 hours, maybe in the front of TV or whatever. So his family is happy, he is happy, his patients are happy, he is working 4 hours. तो दुनिया को क्या फर्क पड़ता? So it is all about that part. So remember that. So my clinic is right in the middle of society on first floor, not visible from outside society building from any side. Many patients find it difficult to locate and thus have to spend a lot on marketing. Spend a lot on marketing. Before that, the organic validation part. Remember that part very clearly. I've spent enough time on it in the previous 3 and 4 number session. So I won't be doing that. But remember, it is not only about the paid marketing. कोई जाता है हो गया तो वो अंदर आ गया. It does not happen. It does not happen like this. People come to you because they can trust you for your treatment that you offer, not that you are visible from their naked eye. Visibility in marketing point of view is something else. Visibility in your clinic point of view is something else. I've given examples of many colleagues who have clinic in their, you can say, even the farthest corners, but they still, you can say, can go about that task, that their clinics are running well. So my clinic is 9 months old. I still don't see positive response from patients. Please assess where are you going wrong, or take a feedback from your patients. Where are you going wrong? Sometimes you need a third eye perspective to tell you where you are going wrong. Lack of control on staff. That comes when you are either too soft, too conservative, or maybe too less skillful. Please don't mind me saying that, but if you are less skillful, the staff will not value you. If you are perfect in your trade, you have a very much clarity over what you want, and you are capable and competent enough, the staff will surely respect you. Of course, you'll be, but the thing is, the question is, why do you want to have a control over the staff? We all need to understand they are like an invincible part. I just said, rishte and farishte. Remember that line. So inability to decide what is an investment for my clinic and what will turn into wasted money, like equipment bought during COVID wave. Curb your adrenaline. That is the only answer I can give you. Don't buy things at the first rush of blood. Let your adrenaline settle down, then go in for it. अब जो खरीद लिया वो तो भंगार बन गया, अगर यूज नहीं हुआ उसका तो आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते ना. खरीदने से पहले सोचना होता है, what is the ROI potential for this? The ROI potential या इसका यूजेज फॉर द लॉन्ग टर्म. कोविड में बहुत लोगों ने खरीदा, forget that, but it applies to otherwise things. Look at the ROI potential, how that thing is going to help you, how that thing is going to give you more productivity, how that is going to make your life easier, and whether it will not burn a hole into your carry home money that you will compromise on your family's हक. जो आपका पैसा घर ले जाते हैं वो आपकी फैमिली का हक है. अगर उनके राइट के ऊपर आप कर रहे हैं कुछ, तो दैट इज रॉन्ग. So all these decisions all these factors should make you into compel you into making a right decision. All these years I've upgraded my knowledge, but I have not applied as much as I've learned. Less work, so less opportunity to use the skills. So my dear friend, you are suffering from knowledge cholesterol. You are not taking action. You are not putting your knowledge into learning. And that is where the problem is. You have less work because you have not tried to implement that. You don't lack the clarity. You had that. You developed the capability. You had the competency now. But what you lack is the courage to implement that. As I said, all these three factors are 30%. The courage alone is 70%. It takes huge courage to develop a certain mindset. So develop your mindset first and then take action. Staff's callous attitude and lack of commitment towards work in spite of paying them decently. Probably you're taking care of one factor out of the 4 factors. Probably you're ignoring the other 3 factors. You're paying them decently and now you treat them like slaves. Probably. I might be wrong. But look into those 4 factors. इसलिए मैंने शुरू के 20-25 मिनट सिर्फ staff के ऊपर बिताए हैं for this purpose, because most of these queries have staff. Of course, a portion of that was covered in the previous sessions also, but this is the reason. Maintenance and repair of equipments in dental clinic as it is a 12-year-old setup. अगर कोई चीज हर 2 महीने में ब्रेकडाउन हो रही है तो बेटर है कि उसको बदल दो. अगर आपकी कोई ना कोई चेयर की पाइप फट रही है तो सारी क्लिनिक की सारी चेयर की पाइपिंग चेंज कर दो. अगर उसका सर्किट बर्नआउट हो रहा है तो उसका पीसीबी चेंज कर दो. अगर चेयर फट रही है उसको लैमिनेशन करवाना पड़ रहा है तो पूरी की पूरी चेयर चेंज कर दो. फाइंड सॉल्यूशंस, डोंट फाइंड प्रॉब्लम्स. you'll have बजट कहां से आएगा? अरे यार 12 साल से डेप्रिसिएशन जो अवेल कर रहे हैं उस चेयर की, तो वो कहां पे जा रही है आपकी? सेविंग्स कहां पे है आपकी? इफ यू आर नॉट सेविंग फॉर योर फ्यूचर, at least 10% of your money should go back into your business. Go back into your business and put into your operations, into upgradation. in any ways. That is the bare minimum. Can be more, can be less, depending upon the condition, or you can say situation one is in. So remember that part. Sorry. So irresponsible staff, after many coaxing, training and motivating them also, they also act recklessly all the time. I have an 8-chair setup with 12 staff, but only 4 are smart. The others are not at all interested in improving themselves, in spite of knowledge that the salary increases after becoming a little good at work. I think I discussed 6 points. Now, what I mean to say is, they are not interested in improving themselves. Give them a specific, respectful feedback. Their salary increases after becoming a little good at work. Do salary appraisals scientifically. There is a proper weightage system according to each and every aspect. You can set your own criteria. I have 3 or 4 criteria with me where I have given weightage, and I have my own criteria how I give a salary raise to my staff. So again, that is a topic of detailed discussion. I won't go into that, but build up your own criteria. Want to learn more from me? Probably you can join me next year in my workshop. That'll be the advanced level workshop I'll be doing on staff and of course the practice management part. So you can join me over there. This is more than a half-day topic. So want to know about strategies other than dental camps to improve patient awareness? There are so many ways where you can network. Rotary clubs, Lions, Red Cross, so many organizations, BNIs, you can say senior citizen bhavans, ladies clubs, retire pensioners association, so many associations other than camps. Camps में awareness कितनी होती है? कैंप में चेकअप होता है, ज्यादा अवेयरनेस कम होती है. कैंप में फ्री वाला काम होता है कि दवाइयां डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करो, चेकअप करो, प्रॉब्लम बताओ. एंड देन वी वरी अबाउट दिस पार्ट दैट कैंप से पेशेंट्स कितने रिवर्स हुए. Many few get reverse actually. Then India, the efforts put in are not equivalent to the rewards most time. This I feel is a constant source of unhappiness in most colleagues, and it reflects on our life choices. Absolutely right. I agree with you more than 100%. Because you are not getting rewards equivalent to your efforts because you're not charging well. If you're charging well, if you're earning money, you will have no reason to complain. The unhappiness primarily stems in professional life from money. Of course, there are multiple factors, job satisfaction and other things, but the primary factor is money. And I'm not a sadhu sant. I will say, nahi, money is not everything. Money is above all things. I'm not a Buddha above the ground. I am also like you, only very much human. And money makes the mayor go. We have to realize this part. So we are all humans and we need to respect that money is still the basic necessities. And if we are not getting enough money, that will be the primary cause of unhappiness. Of course, when you don't have money, it will affect on your life choices as well. बोलेंगे नहीं यार, पिछले साल तो मैंने ट्राउजर ली थी, अब नहीं मैं लूंगा. शूज लिए को फटने वाले हैं, पर चलो कोई नहीं, अभी निकाल लूंगा थोड़ा रिपेयर करवा के टाइम. This is your life choices because living you can say a month to month survival. You are not building up your business. Scaling तो बहुत दूर की बात है. You are not even, you can say, managing your business properly. You're doing crisis management. आज यहाँ प्रॉब्लम आ गई, ये मैनेज कर लिया. आज इधर प्रॉब्लम आ गई, वो मैनेज कर लिया. Marketing is a problem. Conversion is a problem. Operations is a problem. HR is a problem. So all the things you are firefighting and you can say doing constant things in your practice by yourself. And you are doing not management but damagement, as I said earlier also. Internet educated patients, of course, don't spend too much time on them. If they are already too much Googlified, of course, tell your viewpoint, tell your opinion, which is authentic and verifiable. Let them decide. Of course, if you come across as a knowledgeable person who can offer them a solution, remember there are two things. Patients are not interested in how much knowledge you have. What solution you can give to their problem is what matters. अब आप लोग 70 लोग यहाँ पे बैठे हैं, कोई रीजन है कि मैं आपकी पेन पॉइंट्स का सॉल्यूशन दे रहा हूं. If I was giving a blah blah lecture, शायद 20-25 लोग बैठे होते. When you get solutions, people will care for your knowledge. When you can't give solutions, it is just a खोखला ज्ञान only. And वो आया गया, बाल धोए, wash, खत्म. ब्रेन से क्या, बालों से क्या, ब्रेन से भी निकल गया. That is where things go. So this is there. Then fear of social media. As I came across single false rating, negative rating of mine, I responded, but the other person does not respond. To my greater astonishment, when I checked my data, we have never ever checked or entertained any such name of given name. This is a common thing people always indulge in these days. You can say it is a habit now of most of the people to, you can say, berate their colleagues on social media, or maybe some patients who are you can say not satisfied, they don't give you a feedback in their name, they use some relative's name to do that. So but yes, always reply to a negative feedback with equal enthusiasm. And if that patient is not your patient, the one who has put a feedback is not your patient, reply it respectfully. Of course, please come to us, we will solve your problem. But as our records show, there has no patient of such name treated by us. If you are posting against a different name, please come clean on your name and tell us your problem. We'll be happy to serve you. That gives you a reputation. I'll just mention an example of a social influencer. He's actually a script writer in Punjabi. So he does occasional lives. There is a very good Punjabi movie released last week, Yaar Mera Titliyan Varga, Jippy Garewal. So the writer is Mr. Naresh Kathuria. So he's linked with me on Facebook as well. So I was saying, it just flashed on me when I had say just one of my clinic at about 7:30 or so. So that just flashed up. Naresh Kathuria is now live. I just checked up, said, please come tomorrow for our premiere. It is last week's talk. Please come for a premiere tomorrow at this place, this place. One of the guys replied, anytime Sadekol. In Punjabi, he said, we don't have time to come. We are not free to come to your premiere. And this guy, Naresh Kathuria, replies, Baiji, for dear bro, as we say in Punjabi, Baiji, please cut leo thoda ja time. That's it. That's it. That guy did not need to respond to such a person. But what he said was, you can say, kicking. And that guy who had claimed any time, I don't have time, replied back, okay, Naresh ji, I will come. So anger is an insecure sign, or is a sign of insecure leader. So if your good talk, your good words, your calm words can, you can say, it can cool down the tempers of other people also. He just said, please, thoda sa time nikal lijiye. Please come out, thoda sa time, you can say, make out for the premiere for that. Of course, he was not telling to watch the movie. He said, we are visiting that premiere, so we'll be interacting with the audience. He didn't say, please come to the show and watch the movie. So this is the way you can say actually cool off your pretty much competitors, or pretty much, you can say, detractors also. As a new clinic, it is difficult to pay high wages to employees, leading to constantly changing employees. I said, at least pay them equivalent to market rates and pay them according to their skill set. If you want them to be an asset for your clinic, please pay them according to their skill set. वो higher or lower कुछ नहीं होता, that is our mindset. If you're willing to hire someone, that means you have the capacity and capability to pay that person. अगर आप उस पर्सन से काम लेना चाहते हैं तो उसको आप पे किए बिना उससे काम लेंगे तो वो कैसे करेगा? Then you say the staff lacks motivation. They will never have that motivation. Assistants are not following time discipline. Again, this stems for point number 7. Management जैसा करेगी, चमचे वैसे ही करेंगे. Just in a simple language, don't take me wrong. But जैसा एक पंजाबी में मुहावरा है, जिद्दां दी कोको उद्दां दे कोको दे बच्चे. That means it is a cuckoo. The word is used for cocoa is for the word bird cuckoo. Use that as is the cuckoo. The same would be the kids of the cuckoo. So जैसा parents करेंगे वैसे ही बच्चे करेंगे. In a similar way, जैसा आप करेंगे वैसे आपका staff करेगा. So you have to lead from the front. So even though work delegation done, they miss out some work. हम लोग भी बहुत कुछ भूल जाते. Make it a point that you repeat it. It does not mean तुम्हें कितनी बारी बताया, तुम्हें याद नहीं रहता, तुम्हें समझ नहीं आती है. We make a mistake at that point only. Just give them, explain them, or maybe flash their JD in front of them. You need to bring your copy from tomorrow, you know. जिसमें तुमने अपने वो लिखे थे ना कि तुम्हारा ये रोल्स हैं. तुम यहाँ पे लाके ना फ्री टाइम में पढ़ लिया करो, तुम भूल जाते हो बहुत चीजें. Simple way, silently conveyed in the ears, will do wonders. And sometimes next time you will do the same thing. ऐसे इशारा करके, means he'll understand, वो कॉपी में लिखा पढ़ना है. He'll convey the message very silently. But we try to be authoritative. तुम्हें समझ नहीं आता है, कितनी बारी समझाया है. We try to feel bossy around our patients sometimes. कि how authoritative we are, how controlful, how control freak we are. That is the wrong thing we do. So some treatment documentation bypassed by me due to heavy OPD. Please don't do that. That is going to be your bigger savior. God forbid, if in case of a heavy OPD scenario, you end up with a medical negligence, not intentionally, but by mistake, sometimes that mistake can be very costly. So documentation is the backbone of any business. Do not. If you land up in a soup, that is the only thing that is going to give you results. That is the only thing that is going to save your skin, save your neck. So not able to find good dedicated chairside assistant who will continue to work for long term, have to change them every 4 to 5 months. So we have to keep spending 2,000 on Work India every 3 to 4 months. So Work India is a kind of paid agency who provides you employees for, you can say, and they charge a certain amount of commission. So if you don't find a good chairside assistant because you are not training them, you're not hiring them properly. This is the reason I gave you those 6 points very, very clearly at the start itself, so that it sets the tone for all the staff related issues. So when you're hiring, hire with a clarity in your mind कि पहले काम क्या करवाना है. I have told you about the star rated questions also. Use those questions to hire that person according to your setup. There will be a lot of questions, of course, which apply to your setup. Pick up those and go ahead. OPD numbers are not growing the way I expected in spite of making a website, doing SEO, Google ads. Very interesting question. I have already answered it, but I'd love to answer it again. Nobody is going to buy from you the first time they come across you online. Anyways, the online world is the new world of frauds. We all know that. Many, many scams are happening every minute around us. My brother was telling me, my bhabhi called him up a couple of days back. She's a gynec practicing in Delhi. And she said, somebody contacted me that I'm from CRPF and I want to get 60 girls gynec checkup done. And he was like, यार इनको पता क्यों नहीं लगा अब तक. मैं कहा, या उनको लगता कि डेंटिस्ट्री में सैचुरेशन हो गया तो अब उन्होंने गायनी की तरफ रुख कर लिया. No, they're already targeting all the doctors since long. And the first time I came across this CRPF ad was in August 2021. Almost more than a year. More than a year. So if people are not still aware about it, who's to be blamed? People themselves. There is already a lot of information about Mr. Satish Kumar and his alibis, or many people who are on the reckless run to run money. So people don't validate you what you are doing. ये डॉक्टर की वेबसाइट है, कुछ है. What is lacking? Maybe your feedbacks, your follow-ups, your testimonials, that you have, maybe that you offer good treatment. People resonate with the treatment when they see audience reacting कि नहीं ये डॉक्टर ने काम अच्छा किया है. If you just place feedbacks only, written feedbacks, that is going to send a wrong message sometimes. यार ये तो fake भी हो सकते हैं ना, लिखा हुआ है. But if somebody is speaking, चाहे वो परफेक्ट जगह पे नहीं बैठा, अगर वो परफेक्ट जगह पे वीडियो बैठा ना, वाइट बैकग्राउंड, प्रॉपर्ली ड्रेस्ड, बिल्कुल फॉर्मली न्यूज रीडर की तरह बोल रहा है, तो वो पता लग जाता है वो फेक फीडबैक है. सो इट्स ओके. अगर आपके ऑडियंस ने, अगर आप यू कैन से आपके पेशेंट्स ने आपको सही फीडबैक अगर उस तरह का नहीं दिया जो बिल्कुल परफेक्ट नहीं है, इट्स ओके. दैट इज एटलीस्ट जेन्युइन. सो पीपल विल सीक वैलिडेशन. They will seek validation for whatever you do. If you want to order something from a restaurant or you want to order something from Amazon, what you will do? You will go to the review section. देखें इसके reviews कैसे हैं. Okay. And then you see validation कि हाँ ये यार ये product अच्छा है, इसने लोगों ने बहुत तारीफ की है. Generalized rating is 4.5. ठीक है, 0 वाले बहुत सारे होते हैं, 1 वाले होते हैं, लेकिन कुछ 5 वाले बहुत सारे होंगे, तभी रेटिंग कितने 60 यूजर्स के रिव्यू के बाद अगर कोई रेटिंग 4.5 है, दैट मींस इट इज अ वेरी गुड थिंग. मोर देन 90%. वो 10-15% तो लोग भगवान को नहीं छोड़ते हैं मंदिर गुरुद्वारे में, तो आपको कहां से छोड़ेंगे. So that is where they get validation. So सिर्फ website होना जरूरी नहीं है, Google Ads करना जरूरी नहीं है. You have to give them validation also. So unless you can give them validation, they can resonate with you, they can identify with you, they will not be doing it. Though location is prime, there is parking issues, society premises is not clean, building is not at all maintained, lots of repair works to be done, though some plastic and cement work have started now on one side. So the best way is that you contact your society manager, take your local, you can say shopkeepers in that society into confidence. Of course, once that's overall maintenance system situation improves, it is good for everyone's business. It is good for everyone's business. That is where you need to understand that you need to take them into confidence and go ahead. Not able to raise charges the way I want since last 2 years and accordingly want to raise my own bar of quality treatment, but due to my demography, still not able to do so. In fact, most of patients though happy will always say, अच्छा काम करते हैं, अच्छे से बात करते हैं, लेकिन महंगे हैं. That's very good. Being expensive is not an abuse. So if people resonate that you work well, you talk well, you only charge higher, that take it that as a compliment. Say thank you so much. And try to make yourself convinced here first. Good things come at a price. And I'm willing to be that guy. So with this, I finished the support pain points. Let's come to heading number 5. All the headings are 1 or 2 pages only from now on. The ethical pain points. Backbiting. अब ये बड़ा सेंसिटिव टॉपिक है, मेरा फेवरेट टॉपिक भी था किसी टाइम पे, बट अब मैं नहीं करता हूं इसमें डिस्कस. आई फील बैड कि डेंटिस्ट पता नहीं किस मिट्टी से बने हैं. दे ट्राई टू गो बिहाइंड ईच अदर्स बैक एंड ट्राई टू यू कैन से गो अबाउट दोज एस्पेक्ट कि ये ऐसे करता है, आपके कलीग ने ऐसे कर दिया. आर यू परफेक्ट? आर यू ट्राइंग टू पोर्ट्रे योरसेल्फ कि आपने कभी जिंदगी में मिस्टेक नहीं की है? सो डोंट इंडल्ज इन दैट. व्हाटएवर इट इज अ राउंड वर्ल्ड, karma bites back very badly. When it comes back to you, trust me guys, it is going to be a hellish ride for you. So don't indulge, don't, you can say, negativize your karmic balance. Never go on the negative side. सबका फल आपने यही भुगत के जाना है. Don't do that. Even if you come across a bad work, shabby work of a colleague, it's okay. So it might be a mistake. Try to journalize it. Of course, set a reference point. Set a consent form which sets you apart that yes, this is the starting point. This shabby work does not belong to you. I have given example many times. Patient comes to you with a shabby root canal, has no pain, insists you for a crown. The first question should be in your mind, and of course to the patient as well, why did the patient not get a crown from the previous dentist? Balance रहता है, behavior खराब था, क्या था रीजन? सेटिस्फैक्शन में प्रॉब्लम थी, क्या था? चार्जेस ज्यादा लगे? दैट शुड बी द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन इन योर माइंड. हम लोग बोल देते हैं ये रूट कनाल आपकी सही नहीं है, डॉक्टर साहब मुझे कोई पेन नहीं है, आई जस्ट वांट द क्राउन, प्लीज गो अहेड. एंड मन में लड्डू फूटा अप्रोच, एंड वी स्टार्ट जंपिंग ऑन डूइंग दैट क्राउन कटिंग. नाउ दैट ट्रीटमेंट इज फाइन. वंस वी प्लेस अ क्राउन ऑन द टॉप ऑफ इट, मे बी बिकॉज ऑफ लोड, द टूथ स्टार्ट्स erupting in pain, of course, I mean to say, not erupting otherwise, that starts erupting, and that is where the problem comes. Now the patient says पहले तो ठीक था, क्राउन के बाद ही प्रॉब्लम आई है. Now 10,000 बार भी बोल दोगे ना अगर आप कि ये रूट कनाल मेरी नहीं है, रूट कनाल की वजह से पेन, नहीं, रूट कनाल की वजह से पेन था ही नहीं, आप समझ नहीं रहे हो. He'll bring a mob, he'll bring some people, he'll fight with you over phone, he'll write negative feedbacks for you. कहाँ गलती थी? नंबर 1, आपने अपना रेफरेंस पॉइंट नहीं सेट किया, कंसेंट फॉर्म नहीं साइन करवाया, पेशेंट को क्लियरली नहीं बताया, पुट इट इन ब्लैक एंड ब्लू. हमारे कहने के बावजूद पेशेंट रूट कनाल नहीं करवा रहा है. वी आर स्टार्टिंग एंड गोइंग हेड आफ्टर वार्निंग हिम ऑफ द कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस कि शायद लोड डालने पे इस पे पेन हो जाए, बिकॉज द रूट कनाल ट्रीटमेंट फ्रॉम द प्रीवियस वन हैज नॉट बीन दैट ग्रेट. शैबी, बुरी, मीडियोकर, ये लिखना जरूरी नहीं होता है. हैज नॉट बीन दैट ग्रेट. वी फील इट नीड्स टू बी रिपीटेड. वी फील इट नीड्स टू बी रिपीटेड. दैट इज द लैंग्वेज यू कैन यूज. बट अगर क्राउन लग गया, पेन हो गया, बेस्ट ऑफ लक, बेस्ट ऑफ लक. और अगर आपने डॉक्यूमेंटेशन नहीं किया है, डबल बेस्ट ऑफ लक. और हैवी ओपीडी के कारण वो पेशेंट आपका नोन भी था, तो आपने कंसेंट भी बाईपास किया, ट्रिपल बेस्ट ऑफ लक. दैट इज द ओनली थिंग आई कैन से. सो कर्मा है, किसी ना किसी के बारे में बुरा बोलोगे तो वापस आपके पास आएगा. सो रेफरेंस पॉइंट सेट करना बहुत जरूरी है, बट डज नॉट मीन दैट यू हैव टू रियली shatter a colleague's image at your back. Then lack of standardization in treatment planning. Of course, that is a big ethical challenge in today's time. People, you can say, have different points of view over you can say a treatment option available. But then you have to give both the options to the patient, that these are the two parallel treatment options. I'll prefer this option as per my knowledge and acumen. If the patient feels okay, feels that I want to take a second opinion, feel it okay. Let the patient go and take a second opinion. It's okay. If the patient does not turn back or says, no, I'm not convinced, I was convinced with the other dentist class who said this is the better treatment. Now work on that. Make that as a learning goal that you will improve on that part. Then unwanted criticism for shabby treatment. देखो जी, shabby treatment के लिए तो usually needed criticism होता है, unwanted थोड़ा ना होता है. It is a human mentality. हम लोग criticize करने में चैंपियन है सारे के सारे. इंडिया हारा, देखो कितनी मीम्स बन रही हैं. जिसने इंडिया में बैट भी नहीं पकड़ा वो भी सलाह दे रहा है रोहित को, ऐसे खेलो ऐसे खेलो. This is human mentality. This is human nature. But if you do a shabby treatment, you will be prepared for criticism. If you don't want criticism, make that as a learning goal and upgrade yourself so that you don't have to listen to that criticism. So there is not unwanted thing for a shabby treatment. It is a needed thing. It is needed. अगर कोई और ना करे, आप अपने आप क्रिटिसाइज करें, अपने आप को लानत डालें कि मैंने कितना बुरा किया. That is where things can change for you then. Then treatment charges difference between dentist and dentist. Criticize fellow dentist. ट्रीटमेंट चार्जेस के लिए बहुत लोग एक दूसरे, कम लोग एक दूसरे को क्रिटिसाइज करते हैं, बट देन इट इज रादर द पेशेंट्स हु मेक अ मॉकरी ऑफ इट. दैट डेंटिस्ट इज सेलिंग हाई, चार्जिंग हाई, एंड यू फील लाइक अरे यार वो 20,000 ट्रीटमेंट क्राउन का मांग रहा है जिरकोनिया का, मैं तो 5,000 में कर रहा हूं, मैं तो बहुत बड़ा बेवकूफ हूं. एंड पेशेंट से वो डॉक्टर साहब वो बहुत लूट रहा है, वो तो आप ठीक रेट पे काम करते हो, जेन्युइन काम करते हो. एंड यू फील लाइक यार मैं 4 करूंगा वो 1 करेगा तो 1 बराबर है. एफर्ट तो जाता है ना, कॉस्ट तो जाती है ना, तो रिजल्ट किसको ज्यादा मिल रहा है, प्रोडक्टिविटी किसको ज्यादा मिल रही है? हिम, नॉट यू. सो ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस पार्ट. द नीड वर्सेस द ग्रीड फिनोमिनन. See, it all stems from what all you want. Many a times, we forget that money has multiple uses. We feel money सिर्फ हमारी needs के लिए use होता है. Money has various uses. Money is needed for recreation also. Money is needed for savings also. Money is needed for investment also. Money is needed for charity also. You give back to the society or whatever you want. That's one the term बनी हुई है ना, society को वापस देने में. Those who are underprivileged, less privileged than us, they also need to be given back. Give your, again, maintain your karmic balance, positivize your karmic balance. That is the way things go. So money does not have only the use of your needs. It also has 4 or 5 other uses. वो नीड, वो ग्रीड होती है ना, जब किसी का रिक्रिएशन का क्वोशंट हाई चले जाता है ना, मेरे पास महंगा घर भी हो, बड़ा घर भी हो, महंगी कार भी हो, मेरे पास अच्छे कपड़े भी हो, वो फिर नीड वो ग्रीड वहां पे पहुंच जाती है. बट नीड वो ग्रीड इज फाइन एज लॉन्ग एज यू आर एथिकल टू योर ट्रीटमेंट. देयर इज नो पॉइंट इन दैट. अब वो नीड या ग्रीड कौन डिफाइन करता है? ह्यूमन माइंड. व्हाट इज अ नीड फॉर यू मे बी द नीड फॉर अदर एज वेल, बट व्हाट अपीयर्स एज अ ग्रीड टू यू मे बी द वांट फॉर अदर पर्सन. ठीक है, I have both needs and wants. I will work hard and I will earn for them. I will have those wants. It does not mean वो person greedy है. That person has high wants. He works ethically. He charges high. He fulfills his wants. That's okay. If you don't have the courage to charge high, you will always say वो कमीना है, वो गरीब है, वो greedy है. You will have those excuses for yourself. I am the only prani, satyug prani in this Kalyug world. People derive joy out of their suffering. I wrote it in the morning in the group also. लोगों को मजा आता है सिंपैथी लेके. हाय मैं कितना महान हूं. नहीं है कोई भी महान इस दुनिया में. अंडरस्टैंड दैट वेरी क्लियरली. कोई महान नहीं है इस दुनिया में, सब इंसान है. ऑल तुच्छ प्राणी, ऑल ऑफ अस mere mortals. 1 second here and there and we are in God's lap. You never know. So don't think yourself as above anything. We are all mere mortals. Auntie's law की ऐसी की तैसी. Yes, if they fall into that trap of greed versus की वो 1-2 की support, 1-2 और 8 की support से पूरे 8 दांत लगे हैं, that still can be greed. But then if somebody has done it, you don't need to. You don't need to criticize that. If it is working well for the patient, let it be. But if it has failed, you should offer solutions rather than criticizing. ओहो ऐसा कर दिया, तो आप ट्रीटमेंट प्लान उसको देते तो शायद इम्प्लांट बेस देते या कास्ट पार्शियल बेस देते या कुछ और रिमूवेबल डेंचर टाइप देते, प्रॉब्ली ब्रिज तो आप भी नहीं देते, तो आपको 1 और 2 का यूज तो शायद फिर भी ना पड़ता, 8 शायद आपके इंटरफेरेंस करता है इम्प्लांट में, तो शायद आपको कुछ निकाल भी देते, तो दैट्स ओके, दैट्स ओके। उसने आपके जैसा ट्रीटमेंट प्लान नहीं किया, यू ऑफर द पेशेंट व्हाट ही वांट्स टू डू, यू डोंट क्रिटिसाइज द डेंटिस्ट एंड ट्राई, देखो ये कर दिया, अगर उसने 1 to 8 कर दिया तो अगर वो आपके पास आता तो क्या आप करते या आप नहीं करते? आस्क योरसेल्फ। ऑफ कोर्स यू विल से मैं नहीं करता, मैं एंटीज लॉ को रिस्पेक्ट करता हूं, दैट्स ओके देन, दैट्स ओके, व्हाई क्रिटिसाइज दैट पर्सन? द पेशेंट हैज लॉस्ट 1 or 2 ओनली ना, आपका ट्रीटमेंट प्लान चेंज हो रहा, आप सजेस्ट कीजिए, द पेशेंट एग्रीज विद योर ट्रीटमेंट प्लान, गो अहेड, but it is not necessary that you need to criticize that dentist, that fellow dentist always to arrive at that result. Okay, so criticism of the treatment plan when patient goes for second opinion, that's okay. अब ये कौन कर रहा है? कोई पब्लिक तो कर नहीं रही है ना, हम में से ही लोग कर रहे हैं, हम में से शायद बहुत सारे नेबरिंग डेंटिस्ट बैठे होंगे शायद इस एरिया में, या कहीं भी आप में से कोई नेबरिंग डेंटिस्ट भी बैठे होंगे एक दूसरे के, शायद आप दोनों भी एक दूसरे की बुराई करते हो, नॉट सेइंग स्पेसिफिकली बट सेइंग इट जनरलाइज्ड, शायद आप में से कोई एक दूसरे की बुराई करते हो, बट देन यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड वेरी क्लियरली कि सुधार हम सबको लाना है अपने आप में। वी डोंट नीड टू चेंज द होल वर्ल्ड, वी जस्ट नीड टू चेंज आवरसेल्व्स एंड द वर्ल्ड विल बी अ बेटर प्लेस. People derive joy out of their suffering. That is why this planet is a mediocre place, which would have been an excellent place because this is for the superior humans. Then parity among treatment charges within fraternity, no standardization. अब जो एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन करने की कोशिश करते हैं मिनिमम चार्जेस, उसको लोग करने नहीं देते हैं, और अगर कर भी दे उसके मेंबर्स होते हैं 25% ऑन एन एवरेज स्टैंडर्ड. इवन हेड ऑफिस के 72-75 हजार मेंबर है, 3 लाख डेंटिस्ट एवरेज है प्रैक्टिसिंग, या 3 लाख रजिस्टर्ड डेंटिस्ट है, प्रैक्टिसिंग कितने हैं आई डोंट नो, तो 70-72 हजार तो आइडिया के एचओ के मेंबर्स हैं. इन एवरी आइडिया ब्रांच ऑन एन एवरेज 25 to 30 आर मेंबर्स, नॉट बियॉन्ड दैट. जब हेड ऑफिस की ये एवरेज है तो ब्रांच की भी एवरेज यही पड़ेगी ना आपकी. ठीक है, किसी में ज्यादा होंगे किसी में कम होंगे, दैट इज एब्सोल्युटली राइट, बट वो एक अम्ब्रेला आपको ऑर्गेनाइजेशन चाहिए जिसके अंडर आके आप अपने वॉइस कर सके, फियर्स, अपने प्रॉब्लम्स, जहां से आपको रिजल्ट मिले. देन वी कम टू पॉइंट नंबर 6, द थिंग्स व्हिच आर नॉट इन आवर हैंड. The not in our hand pain points, quackery. This is not in our hand. Of course, we can only give information to the public, to the government authorities. उनका होता है पहला वार्निंग, दूसरा 200 रुपए फाइन, तीसरा 500 रुपए फाइन, उसके बाद चौथी बारी वो आते ही नहीं है. So this happens. So we can do nothing about it. We only have to raise our standards rather than going to their standards. Lack of value of our ethics and work, not just among patients but colleague and general public as well. If it is amongst colleagues, I have already said, we all need to change a little bit ourselves. General public, we have to create an awareness. Lack of dental insurance, yes, that is a big handicap, but then this is a problem. We all need to address that. Sooner or later this problem will also be solved. Lack of lucrative job offers, even for students of good dental colleges, government and private, no placement packages to at least give a head start. I actually disagree with this part. I believe that being an entrepreneur is a blessing. If somebody wants to still stick to that job mindset, you are more than welcome to do it. But then, of course, whatever you can achieve via being an entrepreneur, you cannot achieve that in the job. It is not about the job satisfaction part only. It is much rated more than that. But yes, of course, अब प्राइवेट में अगर कोई 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, 8,000 पे डेंटिस्ट रखता है तो वो कौन ब्लेम करने वाला है? We ourselves only. We try to abuse our junior colleagues, fresh youngsters. We try to, you can say, milk them out of whatever they have, and we try to abuse that. So गलती तो फिर हमारी है ना ultimately. We don't realize it. Even though I have written it in not in our hand pain points, because dentist को सुधारना, it's not an easy job. Again, मैं तो नहीं सुधार सकता ना, खुद अपने आप में awakening हो जाए तो बहुत बड़ी बात है. Lack of quality dental education, reverse education trend, learn nothing in college and then struggle and spend money to learn from top-notch private practitioners. Because the basic things are lacking in our colleges. We are still doing class 2 amalgam preparations. Ask most of the clinicians. Majority of them are not doing class 2 amalgam at all. Majority of them. Many clinics advertise themselves as silver-free clinics since so many years now, and we are still doing it. The syllabi needs to undergo a sea change. That is a fact. We are not prepared for the practical world. This is about the clinical part. What I deal with is the non-clinical part. You can say the DMF scenario, the documentation, the management, and the finances. We are not dealt with that part also. So think about it. Then lack of unity and brotherhood amongst our fraternity. I hate to put this point in this category because this is a very, very touchy pain point. अगर ये पेन पॉइंट सॉल्व हो जाए तो बिग बैट्स बंद हो जाएंगे, क्रिटिसिज्म बंद हो जाएगा, चार्जिंग के लिए बंद हो जाएगा, एक दूसरे की यू कैन से लेग पुलिंग बंद हो जाएगी, एंड एक दूसरे का अब्यूज फॉर द ट्रीटमेंट, अब्यूज फॉर द पेमेंट बंद हो जाएगा. बहुत सारे पॉइंट्स जो है वो अपने आप दूर हो जाएंगे. बट देन वी डोंट रियलाइज दिस थिंग दैट यूनिटी मैटर्स. Absolute zero support by DCI and IDA like association. IDA like association means what? IDA like or IDA association. There are so many associations being tried, but still IDA is still the biggest association of dentists. But even being the biggest, it has still 25% members. तो सफाई वाला टैक्सी वाला के पास यूनियन है क्योंकि वो सारे के सारे टस से मस नहीं होते. हम लोग आईडीए के मेंबर नहीं बनते. पहला क्वेश्चन ये होता आईडीए हमें क्या देगी. We never reply back what we can give to IDA. अगेन आईडीए क्या करती है नहीं करती है वो सेकेंडरी. आईडीए इज मेड ऑफ पीपल लाइक अस. कोई मैनेजमेंट तो नहीं है ना. हर साल उनकी मैनेजमेंट चेंज होती है. कभी आपको भी मौका मिलता है एग्जेक्टिव में जाने का, प्रेसिडेंट बनने का, सेक्रेटरी बनने का. ट्राई टू चेंज द सिस्टम. व्हाई ब्लेम इट? हम लोग पॉलिटिशियंस को ब्लेम करते हैं. व्हाई डोंट वी एंटर सिस्टम एंड ट्राई टू चेंज द सिस्टम? वी डोंट ट्राई इवन. I wish my colleagues would stop berating other dentists as this decreases the respect which the patients have in doctors and dentists in my place. After all, the sole purpose of becoming a dentist is not about the income, but to garner respect from the patients and society. See, we on a broader horizon, I would say we are still a respected profession. But yes, many of us stoop to certain wrong things which have made our profession look like bad. बाकी perception audience का भी वैसा ही है. बिजनेसमैन पैसा कमाए तो वो एंटरप्रेन्योर कहलाता है. डॉक्टर पैसा कमाए तो वो लूटता है कहलाता है. That is the general public mindset. Doctors have no right to earn in public's eyes, but that is okay. We have to create an awareness amongst our target population that if we work well, we put our you can say life online, we put our jobs online, we put our everything online, we sacrifice our families, we sacrifice what not. Of course, in dentistry we do comparatively less what the other doctors do, but then still what we are doing is much you can say more than any other profession in that regard. So I would say the respect is earned and we have every right to earn that by ethical treatment and creating awareness amongst our audience. Then the miscellaneous points, the last section of the pain points, coming to the end as I'm nearing my completion time. So workplace politics, mostly these points are related to the salaried guys only. So workplace politics is something, again, a culture which is set primarily amongst the senior and the junior dentist or the medical and the dental colleagues. We are treated second grade citizens by many medical professionals as well. But at places there are people where they respect us equally like that. Again, it stems from knowledge. They have that belief that हम लोग 5.5 साल लगाते हैं, ये हमसे 6 महीने कम लगाते हैं, पता नहीं ये क्या करते हैं या क्या ये कमा सकते हैं, whatever. That mindset is still there in their, you can say, that is reducible only if you can create, you can say, respect for your profession by ethical work. Then lack of freedom. Of course, in a government setup, sometimes you will not have that, but yes, I always say, job फिर भी job है. Being an entrepreneur is still a blessing. Lack of decentralization, again related to jobs mindset. Of course, there will not always be situations as per your liking, but then you have to accept what is around you. Try to change things. If you can't, it's better to change the job or shift to being an entrepreneur. In hospitals, no job security, but that's okay. In any private sector, there is never a job security unless you have a written contract. So insist on a written contract. If you can't do that, then be prepared for a alternative life. That's okay. Nobody wants to learn but wants good marks and good jobs. This is a problem ridden with our system totally. If we can't have that learning, people are doing correspondence MDS these days as well. But then it is a part of their life. This has, you can say, rotten the system to that extent. And if There are teachers like this, students like it. That is why these things are happening. And of course, the management like this. When all three are in sync with each other, that is when these things happen. Lack of opportunity in doing work, that workplace politics will always continue to play its games. Insufficient infrastructure, again, the government, you can say, ordering system is a little lax in that regard. They have to go through so many channels. So that is a part of it that will happen. Illiterate patients who can't start private practice, change the place, change to a different city. There are so many options. You can't say कि 10 लोग मुझे जानते होंगे तभी मैं clinic खोलूंगा. Always start at you can start at a new place as well. There are so many examples. People have started at unknown places and succeeded well. What you need is the foundational activities to be done correctly. What I've told you, if you do the foundational activities correctly, you surely will scale up. But everything, even that foundational activity, is not a get rich quick scheme. Everything is a process, and that process is going to take 3 to 4 years, minimum 2 to 3 years. So be patient with that much amount of time. If something gives you overnight success, it is not magical. It is sometimes turning out to be tragical. So not able to pay due attention to health, your choice. If you can't do that, patients नहीं आएंगे आपके पास लास्ट में. आपकी हेल्थ ही आपकी काम आएगी. Inculcate a game in your schedule. Have a good diet. Have a good sleep. That is very much important. Not saving money. I told you money has 5 uses. Saving and investing are 2 uses of money. If you're not doing that, you need to understand why you're not doing that. Spending more. Do budgeting properly. You need to understand if you fall in that more of wants and less of needs category. So curb your wants. Maybe you can say do a proper budgeting and then you can have the results. Lost in trading. There is ample amount of money in dentistry. If you're burning that money in trading, it's your choice. The stock market and the dental clinic run parallelly from 9 to 3, 9 to 2. But if you're spending that precious time in trading and not in clinic, you are losing out on a golden opportunity. I won't call you a fool. Maybe you must have made money in the past, but I would say you are losing out on a golden opportunity of what you can achieve in your clinic by being an entrepreneur. So no focus at all. Main diversion is mobile and social media. We live in a polluted world. Polluted not from the ozone layer part or the atmosphere part. Polluted in terms of noise. There is so much noise around us. There are so many distractions around us. We should learn to mute that noise. Focus is your most valuable asset when it comes to your work. If you are not focused, you will not succeed. So keeping everything pending, procrastination, overcome that. Unless or until you find certain things urgent and important, you will not be doing that. Develop categories, develop an Eisenhower matrix 2 by 2. Start putting those things into those metrics, which are important for me, which are urgent for me, which are important and not urgent, which are not urgent but important, which are not urgent and not important. You are focusing probably on not urgent and not important, as in the problem number 13. So shift your focus from 4 to 2. That is, 2 is not urgent but important. Planning comes in that part, and urgent and important are usually the category 1 is the deadlines only. So focus, shift your focus from 4 to 1 and 2. So I hope I have covered each and every single pain point what you have listed in those 7-10 days of July. I've tried to cover up each and every point, but this is not over. Before I tell you a few parting things, of course, as usual, those who know, I always end with carry home gyans and the moral of the story and all those part, and of course giving you a brief summary as well. So those of you who in this ki ab to miscellaneous pain points aage khatam ho gaye, wo 12-13 log jo chale gaye hain, you're going to lose out on big things now, because I always save the best for the last. Those who know me, that is, I always said, finish what you start. Initiative is going to give you results. So I hope after this, the you can say your pain points will begin to lessen up. Let's move on. Let me give you a brief summary of in 2-3 slides each of what we have done till now. So this is my town, of course, Ludhiana railway station. So we started a journey. We start not on a train, but of course it was a journey, which was like we stopped at various halts. Again, in the you can say roundabout, we have come back to my town. So there are 4 types of businesses. ऐसे नंबर वन इज द ओनर ड्रिवन बिजनेस, जो बोलते ना जिसमें मैं ही करता, मैं ही धरता और मैं ही भरता. भरता इन टू टर्म्स, दैट आई पे द इनकम टैक्स ऑल्सो, एंड मेरा भरता भी मेरा ही बनता है. So if you agree with me, type yes in the chat box. So जो ओनर ड्रिवन बिजनेस होते हैं जिसमें सिंगल मैन सेटअप, वन मैन शो चलता है, उसमें करता धरता और सबसे बड़ा भरता. So it happens with the owner only. So then there is a second type is money driven business. जितना डालोगे उतना निकालोगे, जितना काम किया उतना पैसा निकाला. That is the basic attitude of that, essence of that money driven business. Then there is a team driven business. My team is a superhero. I'm nothing without my team. But if the team leaves, you become a super villain. Then the fourth is the system driven business, where system is the hero. In a system driven business, the system is the hero. You have the clarity, you have the functional goals, you have the systems are functional without you as well. Whichever team member comes and goes, there is clarity, there is job description, there is, you can say, no ambiguity about it. It does not matter. One person goes, another comes. The owner is involved or not, it does not matter. The strength is the virtue of the system. In the system driven business, you always create a second line of leaders. That is where we say we bring capability and competency in our associates who can handle the same in our absence also. There is a protocol setup that will work when we are in that system. So system driven is the best out of owner driven, money driven, you can say, team driven and the system driven. It is the best of all the four system. And what are the four common challenges of any business? Number one problem, lack of time. We all have that. इतना काम, end of the time, टाइम ही नहीं मिलता, फैमिली के लिए टाइम नहीं मिलता, अपनी लाइफ को एंजॉय करने का टाइम नहीं मिलता, whatever reasons, वेकेशन पे जाने का टाइम नहीं मिलता. We all have those challenges. Then lack of money. People tell me, सर आप बिलीव नहीं करेंगे, भगवान की कृपा है, हर महीने मेरे पास उतने ही पैसे आते हैं जितने मैं हर महीने कमाता हूँ. This is not magical, boss. This is tragical. That means कम कर लो, ज्यादा कर लो, उतना ही पैसा आ रहा है. That means कहीं ना कहीं तो होल है ना आपके टाइटैनिक में. You're working hard, you're paying someone else. Again, like that feeling of a Satyug Prani in this Kalyug world. Remember that. Then our debt keeps on piling up. We build up that debt. That is where the problem is. So lack of growth, of course, that 9 to 9 misery. अनफुलफिलिंग मोनोटस, यानी वही जाके सुबह वही दांत निकालने हैं, वही दांत देखने हैं, वही पेशेंट, वही फिलिंग, बिकॉज यू आर नॉट डूइंग एनी R&D, the foundational activity, you're not introducing any new services, that excitement is not there, you're lacking the spark to go to that business. वही सड़ी शक्लें देखनी पड़ेंगी because you hate your staff. वो सोच के जाते हैं आज मैं इसका जिंद खराब करने के लिए कौन सा प्लान बना के जाऊं. Make those plans sometimes, not realistically but sometimes metamorphically. So this finishes the summary. Let me give you the carry home gyan, which is sync with all my presentations as usual. And before I wind up, I'll give you a few truth bombs as well. So these are the commonest 4 pain points, the support pain points from the patient point of view, the financial pain point, the productivity pain point, the process pain point. This app is too confusing to set up, or this clinic is too confusing, or this doctor is not at all convincing. Again, this clinic is too expensive. Again, this is too difficult to use, not worth it. I need something to help me with this. These are the customer pain points as well. These are the, you can say, the doctor's pain points as well. So understand the pain points. So why and what is the win-win-win philosophy in any business? And dentistry is no exception. The patient gets value for money from the services they are paid for. The staff or the team is getting those desired 4 aspects: financial, career, work-life balance, and respect and care. The owner or the dentist is able to have financial growth, brand growth, and time freedom. अगर 60 साल तक आपने ही काम करना है तो फिर आपके क्लिनिक में सिस्टम कोई नहीं है ना. The clinic can run without you in your absence. That is when you can say ये तीनों एस्पेक्ट्स हुए: पेशेंट खुश, स्टाफ खुश, आप भी खुश. आप खुश तो आपकी फैमिली भी खुश. This is like the true nirvana of building your business. This is called as the scalability. बहुत business जो होते हैं ना, बहुत dentistry के business, I would say they never go beyond the first step. The first step is the firefighting. You can say living on survival mode. अपना गुजारा चल जाए वही बहुत. Then गुजारा चल जाए, थोड़ा बहुत बच जाए वही बहुत. देन गुजारा चल रहा है, बच भी जाता है, बट मेरे को काम करना पड़ता है सारा दिन. अगर मैं काम नहीं करूं, छुट्टी ले लूं, तो फिर मेरा कुछ नहीं होता. दैट इज अगेन अ लिटिल बिट यू कैन से स्ट्रगल टू सर्वाइवल टू स्टेबल. Then there is a growth phase in which you are still building up. You don't delegate fully, but then you still have something in your hand. Then the final is, of course, the scalability mindset. When you scale up to that level that you are no longer vital to your presence in your practice, and the practice is still earning without you, that is like the true nirvana of your business. And that is where I say three aspects: financial growth, your brand growth, and your time freedom. And this is going to take time. There is nothing like a get rich quick scheme. Nothing works overnight, and this thing surely does. Then the moral of the whole story, what it is: three focus areas you need to build on. This is this in one slide, and of course followed by this. The second slide will give you the summary of all the 5 pain points sessions. Those who left till now, they are missing on this part. This strategy, you have to build a model, business model, which is profitable and scalable. You need to identify which are your customers. You need to identify where does your revenue come from. Not everybody walking through your door is your patient. You need to make a calculation कि मेरे को कम से कम इतना चाहिए, इतना उसमें से आता है, इतना उसमें से आता है. तो how you make goals to achieve that, again that is a aspect for calculation all that. वो सारा कुछ different advanced level में हम लोग discuss करते हैं. But just to give you a basic idea of this is actually a slide from my advanced level workshop. तो उसमें ये मेरा syllabus होता है सारा. 3 दिन की वर्कशॉप होती है, सुबह से लेकर शाम तक जब भी मैं करता हूँ. बट उसके लिए वो होता है, नॉट एवरीबडी कैन डू इट. दोज हु हैव डन द बेसिक ओनली विद मी, दे कैन डू दिस वर्कशॉप. सो second is I teach them how to create goals system. Financial goals and functional goals. Financial goals for personal, financial goals for their business, and functional goals similarly. Then tracking those goals. That is not a RRR. That is my RRR. Roles, reports, and review meetings. Then to achieve those goals, strategies and skills which are employed to achieve those goals, how to work on that. वो primary नहीं होता, 10 root canals, 20 root canals, 10 implants, इस तरह नहीं होता. How to make that goals, how to set objectives, realistic ones, identify customers, tracking those goals, and then making strategies and skills to achieve those goals. That is the way what I teach in detail over there. Then the team part, hiring based on attitude, skills, and knowledge. I've dealt with that part considerably, but that is again, this ये team वाला part पूरा एक दिन का topic. So all these things, they take 1 day each. So then developing people by giving specific and respectful feedback, appraising salary scientifically based on various weightage criteria that I have set up. I give you the demo of various criteria otherwise also. Then firing the wrong people as well. And of course, this works in this order only: strategy first, system then, followed by team. The sequence has to be like this. इन तीनों के बाद ऑटोमेशन कम्स इन. ऑटोमेशन में आप अपने सॉफ्टवेयर डाल लीजिए, डिजिटल डेंटिस्ट्री डाल लीजिए, कुछ भी डाल लीजिए. अगर आपके पास ये 3 चीजें नहीं है, तो ऑटोमेशन जितनी मर्जी डाल लीजिए, आपको प्रॉब्लम्स आती रहेंगी. मेरा स्कैनर मेरे स्टाफ ने तोड़ दिया, मेरे स्टाफ को यूज करना नहीं आता, मेरे स्टाफ को ट्रेनिंग दिलवाई थी, वो छोड़ के चला गया, अब मुझे ट्रेनिंग लेनी पड़ेगी स्कैनर चलाने के लिए, ब्ला 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 एंड ऑल दैट ब्ला ब्ला. So that is where we commit a mistake. Without building a strategy, business model, without creating a system, without building teams, we try to fit in automation because this is the trending thing. This is the in thing. Everybody is buying that. Market में एलजीनेट वैसे मिलना बंद हो चुका है, पट्टी भी कम मिल रही है, अब तो स्कैनर ही फ्यूचर है. सारे ले रहे हैं, मैं कहीं पीछे ना रह जाऊं. The FOMO approach. Actually, sometimes it might be the JOMO approach also. It is not the fear of missing out, it is the joy of missing out as well. Learn to think the other side as well. If you don't have these 3 things in place, you're putting in automation, you are doing one of the biggest mistakes in your career. Remember that. So the final words for you will be in the form of many things on the slide and many things off the slide. So knowledge is information, knowledge is power. But who does it give power to? The listeners like you, those who continue to stay till the end. And I'll give you the 4 pillars of any meaningful professional. So intent, you should have the right intent and the mindset, the integrity, the content, and the capability. And these are the 4 things which stand for a meaningful professional. And with this, I hope you have left the station, Ludhiana station or whatever station you were there, of enjoying the pain journey. But I'm not ending it. Just giving you a few truth bombs before I actually wind up the session in another 5 minutes or so. So people always say that money is not everything. I always tell them, earn some money before you start making that statement. वो आपके बाबा जी जिन्होंने बोली थी ना बात, मनी इज नॉट एवरीथिंग, वो खुद चॉपर में आते हैं, उनकी बुलेट प्रूफ गाड़ियां होती हैं, एसी वाली होती हैं, वो आपको प्रवचन देते हैं और उन्हीं गाड़ियों और चॉपर में वापस चले जाते हैं. So earn money before you wear that mask of fake spirituality that money is not everything. Money is the primary thing. That is the driving force behind every one of us working from morning till evening. That is the primary driving force. वो satisfaction, job fulfillment, वो सारा कुछ बाद में आता है, बाकी सब चीजें बाद में आती हैं. And when I discussed about marketing, I always say the world buys from experts. By not creating content, by not being visible, you are deriving the world of your expertise. So don't derive, you are depriving the world, sorry. You're depriving the world of your expertise. So don't deprive the world of such talent if you have that. So be on social media not to waste time, especially on religion and politics. We have enough of Modi and Rahul Gandhi hatred. We have enough of that. We have enough of Hindutva and minority community versus things. Forget those things. Don't waste your time on social media in such aspects. Be on social media to educate, be it your community, be it your colleagues, be it anyone. Create awareness, because that is the primary thing. Then when we come to earning part, I always say this thing: keep evolving, keep adapting. The only company that does not need to adapt is Parle G. Me and you are not Parle G, so we don't need to be Parle G. We need to adapt and evolve. And it is that our business is paying us for learning also. When we use that money to put back into operations to upgrade ourselves, we need to put that money. The more you learn, the more you earn. Learning comes before earning. Remember that. And when you start scaling up, you all feel for a time that you will have some chaos. Understand that chaos of growth is beautiful. Can you handle it? That is the question. If you're willing to learn, trust me, nothing can stop you. If you're not willing to learn, nothing can help you. Remember these lines. We always say after a workshop or a lecture, we can say we feel high. Whatever we try to do, and then we say it doesn't work because we didn't have the courage to apply it. Capability, competence is the ability to do it, but courage is what makes a difference to apply that. Create your version 1. As I've told you, be good to your staff. They are like your arms. जो सुख में साथ देते हैं रिश्ते, जो दुख में साथ देते हैं फरिश्ते. And you can say these are your staff members, only those who are going to stand in your tough times in your clinic. They're going to help you out in that times in your professional life, of course. And when you're down and out, don't you can say feel yourself that everything is done. The only angle when you're down and out which you can try is triangle. TRY-angle. So use a triangle when you're down and out, because triangle or triangle properly, TRIA or TRYA. So that is only going to give you results. Of course, the only way is up, 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 up. So of course, learn to ignore the negative people around you, because they will always be negative and cynical people who will have something to say. They will be abusive. They will create ruckus for you. But don't base your life based on that negative, nasty comments. Ki, agar maine wo video dala, agar maine wo blog dala, kisi ne negative dal diya, to people will keep on saying those 10, 15, 20% people will keep on saying negative things. But then if somebody say, if 80 or 85% of people have liked your thing, feel happy about it rather than thinking about those 10%, 15% negative people. Sometimes it may be even less. 5 to 10% only. If 70 people attend my webinar and 60 people say I was good and 10 people say it was waste of time, I will say to those 10 people, please improve your taste. If 60 people have liked it, it may be good. Do that same application in your clinic. There will be negative people, there will be negative patients who will say, नहीं यार मुझे आपका ट्रीटमेंट पसंद नहीं आया. Take it on your chin, assess it realistically, where you have made a mistake, and try to improve upon it. So that is one point I need you to carry home as well for today. And then don't base your life on fake motivation. हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. Motivation is good, but only motivation does not work. Motivation is like acidity. You fart it off and it is gone. स्टाफ को सुबह सुबह बोलते हैं ना मोटिवेशन के लिए, सुबह सुबह मैसेज हम लोग कई ने व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप बनाया था अपने बड़ी टीम का. बी लाइक द लायन विच रन्स फास्टर देन द स्लोएस्ट डियर और एल्स यू विल स्लीप हंग्री. और बी लाइक द फास्टेस्ट डियर विच रन्स फास्टर देन द फास्टेस्ट लाइन और एल्स इट विल डाई. मोटिवेशन इज टेम्पररी. स्किल एंड नॉलेज इज परमानेंट. बिल्ड ऑन योर स्किल एंड नॉलेज, बिकॉज अदरवाइज वो फेक मोटिवेशन क्या होता है ना, वो फिश वाली थ्योरी, यू हैव फिन्स ट्राई टू फ्लाई. Don't do that. So don't derive joy out of your suffering. People do that because they find enjoyment in that. They find enjoyment in their suffering. They find enjoyment in arousing sympathy out of their people. So always try to do it. And then in the last, I would say, don't try to give yourself excuses that वो पड़ोसी डेंटिस्ट ने मेरा बिजनेस ले लिया, वो नई कॉर्पोरेट चेन आ गई उसने मेरा बिजनेस ले लिया. These things will keep on happening. Business model जो होता है वो continually adapt होना चाहिए. Business model will need to change. If you rely on only on offline, think online. You have to, if you are not using online, you are ignoring a big chunk of the audience today in today's social media prone time, where you can say every minute you can say how many thousand hours of videos are uploaded on YouTube every minute. So you know that. So people don't buy information, they buy people who can give them results. So if you can solve their problems, they will pay you any amount. And lastly, of course, I will also end up with a quote again by Mr. Gaur Gopal Das ji. He says, लोग ये बोलते हैं ना जिंदगी एक बार मिलती है, गलत बोलते हैं ना जिंदगी ना मिले दोबारा, एक ही लाइफ, वन लाइफ, सो मेनी थिंग्स. माय वाइफ इज आल्सो फॉन्ड ऑफ दिस फिलॉसफी, वन लाइफ, सो मेनी थिंग्स टू डू, एंजॉय टू द फुल. सेड इट इज योर चॉइस. सेड मौत जिंदगी में एक बार मिलती है, जिंदगी तो रोज मिलती है. हर सुबह जब आप उठते हो, यू गेट अ न्यू लाइफ ईच डे. Each day is a new day, new life to start your journey. So if you are not starting your journey every day, if you're not starting your new life every day, you're committing yourself a crime. You're giving yourself, you can say that guilt-ridden life. So you death only once in life. You live life, you get life every day, every morning, then you get up. So this is my time, ladies and gentlemen. It is 10:05 and I thank you for staying till the end. At least 50 plus of you stayed there till the end. So we are running this platform. You know that it is in my name, groups./Dr. Bhavdeep, the platform of PSD, to erase out the documentation management and financial index of dentistry, the DMF index. So if you're not yet joined, do join in. We are yet to take off fully, but yes, we are sharing little content, sharing little problems every now and then. But yes, very soon we'll be into full blown mode into the fourth gear. Right now we are into the second to the third gear. We'll be going into the fourth, fifth gear, sixth gear very soon. So most of you are in WhatsApp community, so I don't need to tell you. If you want any friends to be added, do let me know. I'll add your friends. So this is my YouTube channel. Most of my content is there on basic topics there. So you can watch those videos. These are for you only. And my social media presence, of course, is in my name only, Dr. Bhavdeep, everywhere, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, except my page, which is in drbhavdeep.ahuja.com /Facebook /Dr. Bhavdeep Ahuja. So do send me your feedback in the WhatsApp group, wherever you are. So, or on my cell, wherever you want to, bookers and book bats, both would be welcome in equal measure. If you did not like anything about it in the past 5 sessions, those of you have attended in full, please be very, very vocal about it. It'll give me ways and means to improve wherever I can. So thank you so much for your patient hearing. And I stop my share for questions from all of you. Thank you once again. And you can, let me change the settings. You can unmute yourselves and ask me any queries. First, I'll look up in the chat box if there are any. So do ask your queries if there are. First, let me just go through the chat box, please, once. Agree. Agree and super voice modulation. Thank you, Tushar. Sir, please match की बात नहीं करी, इंडिया का मैच है. हाँ या पंथ एंड हुडा शुड ओपन. यस आई नो. जोगिंदर शर्मा याद आ गया. यस यस यस. This makes sense. Now they're telling you that you have missed the premium of the policy Bharti AXA scam. Yes, and बिजली का bill also, Ronak. आपने बिजली का bill नहीं मिला. Last week only a friend of mine's father got duped. आपने बिजली का bill नहीं जमा करा, you got duped. They are looking for all sorts of forms. Full of form is just obey boss. Wow. Full form of job is just obey boss. Thank you, Sandeep. Freedom obviously नहीं होगा. Yes, of course. So, okay, great. Okay, Dr. Ajay says very informative. Dr. Afsi says thank you, thank you, thank you. Dr. Sonia says amazing session as always. Dr. Shilpa says thank you. Okay, Dr. Ramchandra says thanks a lot as usual. Power packed. Sandeep says awesome once again. Tarak Mehta ka ulta chashma is old now. Bhavdeep ji ka Sida chashma is trending. Sida chashma is making things clear in that sense. Wow. Thank you, Sandeep. But why are you sending direct message? Send it in the group itself. Don't worry. So I need to post that in the chat, of course, for everyone. That is a wonderful compliment, I would say. Just a minute. I think I'm not enabled the chat. Maybe the copy thing. Okay, never mind. Okay, so Dr. Divya says thank you. Dr. Tushar says superb. Dr. Bindu says thank you. Power pack, super powerful. Superb, Dr. Abhishek. Dr. Sonia says, hope to earn the missed sessions from you. Dr. Namita says, powerful as always. Yes, thank you so much for your feedback. Do post it in the WhatsApp group. And yes, I'm open to queries. And there till all the queries get answered. Please feel open to ask anything. Unmute yourself, raise your hand, switch on your camera, and please feel free to ask anything that you want to. Yes, Dr. Divya. Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you, Sandeep. Yes, Dr. Divya, go on.
Hello, sir. Sir, this is about a patient who had actually a walk-in patient. So he just came to the clinic in the morning session, and at that time we were just setting the clinic up. And I asked him to, wait for a few minutes because we just opened up. This is just for a consultation, new patient. The moment I asked him to, wait for a few minutes, he was like, he's in a hurry. He will come later. Then I just told him that, this is a clinic number. Do contact the clinic and book an appointment. And then he said he would like to come at around 1:30-ish or 2 o'clock-ish. So I told him it is better if he gives a specific time so that the clinic will be open at that time. And then I told him that is a lunch hour. So it will be better if he comes before the lunch hour. Then he told me he will come. He will he will reach the clinic 5, in fact not even 5. He said 1 minute for 1 o'clock. That is when he'll reach the clinic. So please keep the clinic open. I told him, okay, sir, if you're coming that close to the lunch break, then yeah, definitely we can wait for a few minutes for you. And as it turned out, he did not come to the clinic, which was kind of expected, but still. And then I kept the clinic open for half an hour, assuming that he was serious. He was really interested in the treatment. Then he did not come to the clinic for that day. He came later that same day in the evening when other appointments were there. And he expected to be attended instead of the patient who was sitting on the chair. Obviously, in front of that patient, I told him it will not be right to, even do a checkup of a few minutes by making this patient get up because he already has come for an appointment on his appointment. So the patient A, who just comes in any time, new patient, he left the clinic again, taking the clinic number. I gave him an appointment for the next day. Again, he didn't turn up. So this is the third time he has just taken an appointment and not come. And then next day, the day after, he actually came again, just like that, mushrooming suddenly from anywhere. Whenever he feels he has time, he just walks in. He came for a consultation. At that time, we did have time. So we did the checkup, we did the x-ray, everything fine. I told him the fee structure, everything. It was for an RC endo case. Everything was fine, sir. And then I told him very clearly, the consultant will be visiting the clinic. Please, if you're not coming, because he has already done that many times, please inform us beforehand because doctor is coming all the way just for you. He nodded and everything. Yes, yes, of course, I understand. And sir, he didn't turn up. He didn't turn up for his endo appointment. The way it turned out, I actually on purpose gave him a 15 minutes early appointment. And I told the endodontist to come 15 minutes late because there was no sign of this man. I asked the consultant to not come. Now, my question is, when such a thing happens, when somebody repeatedly, despite warning, despite educating that, everybody's time is precious, especially in this case, when a consultant is coming, it's very embarrassing if the patient does not arrive. So in this case, what could have been done? Or should I not have attended this patient at all? Or should I have done something better?
See, there are few things to, when a patient always walks in like this, and he gets, you can say, unlucky every time. Always say in a cheeky tone to that patient, आप जब भी आते हैं कोई ना कोई, या आप ओपनिंग के आते हैं या क्लोजिंग के टाइम पे आते हैं या कोई पेशेंट होता है, आप एक मेरी सलाह मानेगा, प्लीज डोंट इंडल्ज इन लॉटरी, बिकॉज आपका लक बहुत खराब है इस मामले में. यू विल नेवर डू दैट. Number one. Number two is, whenever you're calling a specialist or a consultant, for such patients, always indulge in, you can say, a prior payment, because that is the tune. Whenever you put a financial liability on the patient, they will always be a little more serious about it. But when you're just doing the verbal commitment, absolutely not. And then, of course, the thing is, most of the systems are conveyed through the consent form. So wherein how we work, how the things go, how the terms and conditions are given, the journal terms and conditions, the specific clinic terms and conditions, of course, that is a part of that. We don't verbally make the patient attuned to our system, or not just financially. We make it in a written manner. And for us, the consent form serves the big purpose. People confuse the consent form to be only, I hereby give my consent. That is not consent. That is bloody blanket consent. That is not valid in any court of law. Give alone, provided protection will not serve any purpose. A proper term and proper consent is the one which includes the patient consultation inclusions, what you have talked on the top. What you get on the net is the body. And then followed by your, you can say, terms and conditions and your practice policy inclusions in that, everything in that. And all of that, it less than 2 pages is what is the essence of the consent. And people confuse it only to be a document for the treatment part. So your terms and conditions of how you work, the way you work is sure. Many times, this will also happen that you take an advance from the patient will feel that he or she has bought you. जैसे मैंने एडवांस दिया था ना, तो मैं अपने टाइम पे आऊंगा. What will you do then? You've already taken the money. You can put the financial burden to, you have made sure that the patient comes by taking money, but by not setting your terms and conditions and your other system in place, you have not made sure that the patient comes on time. By money, you make sure the patient comes, but by not creating other systems, you have made sure that the patient comes, but not surely on time. So that is the way you need to create that system in your practice, verbally first, followed by documentation, and then jump on to the treatment. That is the protocol that I follow since many years, and that is what I teach. So don't confuse that. You need to build a system for that. Sometimes monetary liability will not be enough. And I can tell you that from personal experience. So whatever you did according to your system, and you can say shortcomings at that point of time was fair enough, but maybe the conveying part of your terms and conditions could have been better. But again, for that, you need to have a clarity for that. What are your clinic's terms and conditions? What are your policy and procedures? What is the way you work and how you convey that to the patient? So that is the way things go. Okay.
So 2 things on that. First is, I want to ask if we should ask full payment for such patient, or, an advance, like only a part of the payment.
Again, that is your clinic policy. A policy is a decision that is applicable to every patient. Exceptions can be there. You said for such patient. No, that should be a rule for every patient.
If a consultant is coming.
If rather if you have a policy that I charge 50% upfront, 50% at the first sitting when the patient arrives. Before the start treatment, 50%, first sitting end 50%. Let's suppose this is the system. It can be any. I'm just giving you an example. So if for such a patient you charge 100% upfront, considering his nature, He will say, I have paid you treatment upfront. Why am not I being treated? Then he will create a worse ruckus than this. They'll think they have bought the dentist. So you conveying your clinic system is more important rather than only financial commitment. Once the patients are clear that you work as per system, बहुत कम patients will cheat you in this regard. Okay.
So second question, sir. So in wait, so I lost the question. Just a second. One was the payment. Second, yes, sir. So the consent form. Consent form is something that we do just before start. In the sense, the whole thing is already explained to the patient. This is how I am doing. Already everything is explained to the patient on the consultation day itself. But on the day the treatment starts, that is when I'm getting it signed from the patient.
Then are you making sure that there are two witnesses also to that? One of them has to be a patient witness. One of them has to be a patient witness. Your two associates can't sign in that regard. Of course, exceptions can be there, but it cannot be for everyone. So make sure your documentation in that regard, you have to have a patient witness for sure. Two witnesses, one doctor's accomplice. Yes, a witness consent is more reliable in any code of law. And yes, anyways also, otherwise also system wise also, when you have that consent form signed, the patient always have that mindset कि मेरे को जब 4 लोगों ने साइन किया होता है ना, डॉक्टर ने, पेशेंट ने, 2 विटनेस ने, तो बहुत कम लोग बैक ट्रैक करते हैं अपनी कमिटमेंट पे.
So consultation day पे भी sign कर सकते हैं हम consent form treatment का.
You can do it, but you have to make sure somebody comes with the patient. You have conveyed everything to the patient beforehand, and there are no surprises in the written. You can do that. No problem. You can do that. But make sure the patient comes with a witness and make sure that the patient has everything known in the verbal before and nothing in the written comes as a surprise to him.
So both ways, both the days it can be done, and both the days you need somebody as an attendant.
No,
as a
at least on the written day you need it.
Oh.
And you just repeat it verbally. Repeat it verbally.
Yes.
In front of the witness that this was explained, you can say in verbal to you. This is the written part. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yes, Dr. Charvi.
हेलो सर. सर मेरा क्वेश्चन ये था कि
मैम कैमरा ऑन कर लीजिए प्लीज.
जस्ट अ सेकंड.
यस मैम बोलिए.
हाँ सर, मेरा क्वेश्चन ये था कि अभी सम डेज बैक ओनली देयर वाज अ पेशेंट, नहीं एक्चुअली 2 महीने हो गए, 11th स्टैंडर्ड का पेशेंट था, कुछ 16-17 इयर्स में भी. उसकी मदर के साथ आया था. And generally, I don't have a habit of working on the patient in front of relatives. I am not comfortable with that. So whenever I'm an adult patient, about 13, 14, I don't allow relatives inside the working area. जगह भी बहुत कम है and I am not comfortable. तो इस केस में क्या हुआ, वो मम्मी के साथ आया था. I told her mother to wait outside the clinic. और क्लिनिक का वो पेशेंट आया और फर्स्ट अपॉइंटमेंट में ही he said I want to go with the treatment. So I said okay. और हाँ, he was a neighboring patient. मतलब मेरा क्लिनिक जहाँ पे है उसी लाइन में वो रहता है. तो हुआ ऐसा कि उसकी मम्मी को मैंने एक बार बोला कि मैम प्लीज आप बाहर वेट कीजिए. तो शी वेंट फॉर 2 minutes, देन अगेन शी केम बैक. तो थोड़ा सा नॉट रूडली बट फॉर्मली बोला कि मैम प्लीज आप बाहर बैठ जाइए, हम कर रहे हैं आपके बेटे का ट्रीटमेंट. तो इज लाइक कि ये बच्चा है, डरेगा, ये वो, ऐसे कैसे आप बाहर बिठा रहे हो. और बड़बड़ करते करते चली गई वहां से. आई वाज लाइक ओके फाइन, नो इश्यूज. और इतना भी छोटा नहीं था. अगर छोटा बच्चा तो वी कैन अंडरस्टैंड, अकेला नहीं बैठ जाता. 16-17 इयर्स, दैट इज नॉट छोटा. तो
मैम 18 से नीचे इंडिया में माइनर गिना जाता है, लीगली ऑल्सो, ऑन कंसेंट फॉर्म ऑल्सो, एंड एज अ गार्डियन ऑल्सो. वो चाहे आपके लिए बड़ा हो, ग्रोन अप हो, मूछे दाढ़ी हो उसके, he'll still be considered a minor. I'm sorry to say. And minors के साथ पेरेंट्स का होना, it is their right, it is their legal right to have you can say a guardian along with them. Even if you are not comfortable, that is not their problem. A minor needs a guardian along with. So legally you cannot stop them. For an adult patient you still can. उसमें भी आपको एंशियस पेशेंट मिलता है, थोड़ा सा डरा हुआ फेयरफुल पेशेंट मिलता है, तो यू मे हैव टू अलाउ समटाइम्स, may have to allow, but that is a discretion up to you. But for a minor patient, you can't. चाहे वो कितना मर्जी grown up लगता हो, 16, 17 is still a minor. 18 से ऊपर major होता है मैम. So that is a fact that you have to take in account always.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else?
सर नहीं सर, मतलब चलो मुझे ये भी इतना बड़ा इशू नहीं था कि आके रोके, बट शी वाज काइंड ऑफ वेरी रूड अबाउट इट.
बिकॉज आपने बोला हम अलाउ नहीं करते हैं, आई एम नॉट वेरी कंफर्टेबल. शायद आपके से शायद दैट इज व्हाई आई एम सेइंग शायद. तो शायद उसको आपका लगा हो कि ये डॉक्टर इज नॉट सो फ्रेंडली, व्हाई शुड आई बी एडजस्टिंग इफ शी इज नॉट एडजस्टिंग. इन क्वेश्चन यू कैन से पोस्ट एपोस्ट्रोफी, यू कैन से अगर वो एडजस्ट नहीं कर रहा तो मैं क्यों एडजस्ट करूं. दैट इज द क्वेश्चन. ओके. या. एनीवन एल्स? Any questions? So we are done with the pain point series. Of course, there is one session pending, which I promised you on the Teachers' Day, which I had planned to take up on 5th of September, Monday. That will be taken up very soon, but you will get a bonus for the delay. Of course, I'm planning something bigger, which could not have been possible on 5th, and it might require 2 days. So again, I'll come back to you with a lot of planning in that. And of course, you will not regret that you missed that session on 5th of September. You will get ample, you can say, compensation for that in terms of that. So rest be assured, but very soon it will be happening, surely around Diwali or so, or maybe a little bit beyond that. So in 1.5 months time. So because I have a few commitments to fulfill before that. So do post in your feedback in the respective WhatsApp groups wherever you are. And of course, we meet again. So Dr. Tushar says, can you elaborate on associate dentist salary? It has to be, as I said, at least equivalent to the current prevalent market price. At least current prevalent market price, and not, you can say, less or more. Less or more is your choice, but should be that. So it should align with the skill set as well. अब हम लोग कहते हैं कि डेंटिस्ट अब्यूज करता है एक दूसरे को, तो हम लोग ही अगर अब्यूज करेंगे तो फिर उनको यूज कौन करेगा? इफ यू वांट टू यूज योर स्टाफ प्रॉपर्ली, डोंट अब्यूज देम. दैट इज द ओनली आंसर. एंड एसोसिएट्स आर also a part of your staff. So learn to develop that mindset in that regard. I hope it answers your question. Thank you, Dr. Monali. Mr. OnePlus, Dr. OnePlus says, great lecture. Sorry, I don't know your name, Mr. Dr. OnePlus. So Dr. Gajanan Shinde says, very thanks, sir, for valuable inputs. So thank you so much, guys. I have kept you and you waiting for your dinner for long. So bye-bye and take care and have a great weekend coming up ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.